844-252-4206 or go to lighthousestreaming.com and set up your free consultation.
Central Texas home for sports. It's Centex Sports Network and Infinity Sports. KWBT-FM, HD2 Waco, Temple, Killeen, Fort Cavazos. The new leader in sports in Central Texas is Centex Sports Network and Infinity Sports.
Holy Jesus. What is that?
It's time to get in the game.
Do you know what time it is?
Tune in to Primetime Sports Talk with Jalen Gillis.
To me, you are nothing.
Your go-to source for breaking sports news in Central Texas and exclusive Dallas Cowboys coverage.
Come on, start it up. Let's go.
Catch us Monday through Thursday from 5 to 7 p.m. on the Centex Sports Network and Infinity Sports.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome back into Centex Prime Time, the first show of the new year. Happy New Year's to everybody out there today. Want to thank you all for listening in with us on Centex Magic 94.5. Also, Infinity Sports Radio Central Texas, and watching on YouTube, Centex Sports Network. Want to thank you guys. I'm your host, Jalen Gillis, getting ready to take you through the prime time topics in sports, not just in the Central Texas area, but from all around the nation. Once again, Happy New Year's to everybody, as we've got plenty to talk about on the show here today, folks. Obviously, college football is in full effect. Most of you are watching or listening to the Notre Dame and Georgia game. We've got all the games that happened yesterday in the New Year's. It's bowl season as well, so we still got Duke and Ole Miss will be playing later on tonight. Basketball, NBA season in full effect. Got a couple games on TNT. Just a great time of the year if you are a sports fan. College basketball going on. Just got done calling an MCC game. MCC women's team came out with the victory over Tyler Junior College earlier today. MCC stays undefeated on the season. Shout out to Coach Thomas, doing an amazing job out there with those kids, and undefeated and ranked number 10 in the nation in junior college. So doing big things out here in Waco. So we got college basketball going, college football going. Great time of year if you are a sports fan. If those of you that are watching on YouTube, make sure you guys hit that subscribe button on there. Also click that bell so you can get notified whenever we go live here, 5 to 7 p.m. weekdays right here on Centex Sports Network. Well, folks, joining me in studio, we got a full house today, as we did on Tuesday as well. We've got the play-by-play man for La Vega football that you heard all year long, and obviously a friend of the show, Mr. Cedric Igahart. Said, what's going on?
Hey, what's going on, man?
Nothing much. Hey, appreciate it. Happy New Year's to all of y'all as well. And Said had a birthday last time he was on here, came in, stopped in on his birthday last week with us. And
another trip around the sun.
Yeah, he's another trip around the sun. And for those of you listening and not watching, you know he's got the Eagles hat with him. He's got a few of them. He showed me he's got a few of these Eagles hats that he's gonna bring out. And
yeah, I think what I'm gonna start doing, I'm gonna start wearing a different one every time.
Yeah, he's got a list built up of them already. Also joining me in studio, y'all have heard him on here a few times on the radio on Centex Magic 94.5. But back in studio today with me, Kyrell Gibson. Kyrell, what's going on? You should have had your Cowboys hat, man. Y'all could have had a whole family feud up here or something while y'all on here talking. But got a full show with us today. We're going to talk about, obviously, we'll talk a little bit of NFL later. We'll talk Week 18, final week in the NFL season. Later, we'll talk playoff implications. We'll talk matchups in these playoffs. We'll talk about these college football playoffs, round 2, that is currently happening right now, as Notre Dame is up 13-3 on Georgia. And we'll do a couple of hot take or quick takes as well as we talk about some of the things going on in the sports world. But to start with it, we've got to start with the game that I know everybody watched yesterday that I said a few days ago probably wasn't going to be that entertaining, and I probably haven't been more wrong about something all year long in saying that game wasn't going to be entertaining, because it's early in the year, but right now it's the game of the year. And that's Arizona State against Texas. Texas survived in a double overtime thriller against the Arizona State, in a game that I thought Texas would take care of business in. They came out there, Arizona State, they were losing. I mean, I'm going to be honest. The game was pretty boring for the first 3.5 quarters. Looked like Texas was going to cruise through it, not going to have much of a problem whatsoever. But in the fourth quarter, Arizona State started to come back. really the whole second half, but in that fourth quarter especially, they scored 16 points in the fourth quarter, tied the game up at 24 apiece. Even also had an opportunity to be able to win the game if they would have got that targeting call that a lot of you all saw at the end of that game. But Cam Scatterbo, not too much you could say about him. Guy played amazing. Won the offensive MVP for Arizona State, even though Arizona State did lose in overtime. 39-31 was the final score of this game. Texas just too much for him in overtime. And, they struggled in this game at times. Texas ended up pulling it out. But, man, there were some moments in this game where I thought Arizona State might actually be able to come out with a win, which is something I didn't think I was even going to get close to saying just because of how outmatched Arizona State was to this Texas team. Texas been one of the top teams in the nation all year long. Arizona State, a team that came in at the end of the season and had to win 6 or 7 in a row just to get to the Big 12 championship, just to be able to get to this college football playoff. So, Seth, I'll start with you, man. First thoughts about this Longhorns Arizona State game, 39-31 final score.
Yeah, you and I have talked about Texas before. There's a quality to this Longhorn team to where they just can't seem to get out of their own way. This is a very talented roster. This is probably top to bottom, probably the most talented roster in the country, in my opinion. They just got studs all over the place. But the coaching has been a issue with me, especially since for the last 5 weeks anyway, last 5 games. Mm-hmm. And you just kind of see, Arizona State outplayed Texas. And I think that Coach Dillingham outcoached Steve Sarkisian. Just that's just my opinion. Now, it didn't work out in Arizona State's favor, but like I say, if that targeting call would have been called, because I watched a lot of college football this year, that would be targeting in any other game. But for some reason, it wasn't called in that game, and that's what kind of left the door open for UT to come out with the victory. But I'm really concerned about Texas. Now they're going to have to face Ohio State going in. That the next game is against Ohio State, and I just don't. I'm just not a fan of Coach Sark. Let's put it like that. Because UT is a program, you don't have to recruit kids to UT. Kids want to come to UT.
Yeah.
UT turns away 4s and 3 stars, on a regular basis. Mm-hmm. Kids want to play at Texas. But I'm just concerned that this whole Steve Sarkisian thing, I just think he's overhyped. And we see in the big moments, Texas lost twice to Georgia.
Yeah.
The same Georgia team who's currently getting routed by Notre Dame. You see what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So there's something wrong in the coaching room with UT. It's definitely not a talent thing. It's just a coaching thing.
Yeah, it's got to be a coaching thing. Talent-wise, they're right up there with Ohio State, who I said is the most talented team in the nation. They're right up there with the Ohio States, with the Georgias. But coaching has got to be a problem at some points in the game. You're up 24-8 in the fourth quarter. You got to close a game like that out. There's no reason the ball should be getting put in the air in harm's way. Like you said it months ago on here that sometimes Steve Sarkisian just gets too cute with the play calling. You just rushed for 300 yards last week against Clemson. You come out this week and you're throwing the ball every single second down. Every second down you get, you're throwing the ball. You're putting the ball in harm's way.
And you're doing it with the second best passer on your roster.
Yeah, yeah, and that's the other part. Because I've been put Arch Manning in guy all year long, and as we're getting later and later in the season, it's getting proven more and more. Quinn Ewers is a 3rd, 4th round pick. I know that he got hyped because he's at Texas, and they were saying first quarterback off the board, first round grade, all this yada yada. It's the reason he's about to go back to college, even though he hasn't announced it. Y'all just remember I said it. He's coming back to college. It just ain't going to be with a UT uniform on. It might be back to his old college at Ohio State, but he's going to be somewhere else playing college because he's going to be a 3rd or 4th round pick he comes out this year.
And he can still come out because I just don't see him getting any better anywhere else. I mean,
he's not getting better.
You know what I'm saying? So, with that roster that he's playing with those weapons that he has at his disposal, he's playing the best he could possibly play.
He is.
So I just don't see him going anywhere to improve his draft stock. So just come on out because, you're the new Chase Daniel.
Yeah, yeah. No, seriously though, I've had so many concerns and questions about Quinn Ewers, but the more and more these games go, I'm starting to agree with what you said. I think Steve Sarkisian is kind of just blowing a lot of these games. Kyler, what was your thoughts on this UT and Arizona State matchup?
Yeah, man. Steve is trying to, when we were watching the Vega and McCarthy's game, me and Quay were making an observation that quarterback, somebody was trying to get the quarterbacks off. Why do y'all keep going?
That was the coach's son. That's why.
I'm seeing the same thing with Sark and Quinn Ewers, man. I'm looking at this and I'm kind of thinking that is he fulfilling promises here? Because Quinn Ewers should be driving the bus right now instead of trying to make as many plays down the field as he does. He does have studs on the outside, but those throws were obviously forced. And you're throwing the ball on second down. Why do we have to sit here and watch Quinn Ewers try to make these conversions on second down? You can run the ball and put the game away. It doesn't make any sense. It seems like somebody's trying to get their quarterback draft stock higher, honestly. And that's because coming back, Texas should have blew that game out of the water. Like,
yeah.
The talent there was a talent discrepancy. Shout out to Arizona State. They did their thing, but there's a talent discrepancy in the trenches, and then there was a talent discrepancy at your skill positions. Now, they played their heart out, but there's no reason that Arizona State should have came back in the game. That game was completely on coaching. I'm off Quinn Ewers. Quinn Ewers has showed his cards earlier in the season who he was. Y'all were absolutely right about his pecking order in this draft class right now. So knowing that, why is he not driving the bus? Why is he not have it on cruise control? Why is he trying to mash the gas? Or why does Sark have him trying to mash the gas? Dial it back. Get the ball in your star player's hands. Once Isaiah Bond gets back, you get the ball to him. Golden and Trey Wisner. Get the ball in his hands. Even Blue. Like, I'm a fan of his as well.
Gunner Helm.
Yeah, your stud tight end. Get the ball out of quick stuff. But yeah, Quinn is not going to doesn't have the star under him if he play NCAA. He don't got a star. All right. He's just got a regular circle, just like all these other guys, man. And that's what it's gonna be. But right now it's looking like, hey, if you guys keep trying to have Quinn be this number one draft pick or anything, you guys are gonna be sent home next week because Will Howard, it seems like he's figuring it out. They're figuring it out how to, hey man, just get the ball.
Throw the ball to Jeremiah Smith. That's
running.
They finally figured that out of the house.
He's not open, run the ball. All right. If he's doubled, run the ball. If he's tripled, run the ball. If he's doubled, throw the ball.
Yeah, he still might get that boy. Yeah.
Yeah.
He's special.
Quinn is not that guy, and I'm agreeing with you. It's like Steve Sarkisian. It is a point of him. Maybe he's trying to improve the draft stock. I think it's more of, I want to prove I'm the guy. Steve Sarkisian wants it to be, man, did you see that play Steve Sarkisian drew up? Man, did you see that scheme Steve Sarkisian was running? Because that's what was happening at the beginning of the year and the end of last year. It was all, man, look at these plays that he's calling. Look at this. And he starts smelling himself and believing his own hype. See, that's the difference between Nick Saban, which he came from, and all these other coaches. Nick Saban was just going to teach people how to play football and what to do, how to do it. He wasn't calling the plays. He had a defensive coordinator and an offensive coordinator. When they need something to happen, he's going to tell them what type of play to do, but he's not going to call the plays because he knows at the end of the day, I got to worry about this. They got to worry about this. Steve Sarkisian still wants to be the ultimate play designer.
I'm going to say something here.
Yeah.
And I know people are going to push back on me because I'm an Eagles fan, but there's this Jerry Jones thing going on right now with Steve Sarkisian. He wants to win, and he wants to make sure that it's his name that is stamped on the victory, which the main thing is get the win.
Yeah, for sure.
It doesn't matter how you win. And like you say, up 24-8, and then now you don't have it to traditional football. Let's just run the ball, eat up clock. You have two great running backs.
Yeah.
And we saw how Wisner carried them and not going into the postseason.
Yeah.
The last two games, running the ball 30 times.
Yeah.
The A&M game especially.
Yeah, for sure.
So you have the ability to do this, but you just want to like you say, just come out here and I agree with what my man here, Brother Gibson, is saying. It's like you just want to showcase Quinn Ewers.
Yeah.
Why? Stop that. Stop that. Run the ball. Let's get out of here.
Yeah. I'm confused on a lot of their play calling, but letting one guy almost beat you yesterday was really their downfall. It had to be, as much as I got on the Quinn Ewers, got to give him credit for that 4th and 13 throw because the game was over, in my opinion. And he steps up in the pocket and makes a touchdown pass on 4th and 13 in overtime. That if they don't get that, the game's over with, and we're having a completely different. We might not change the subject off Texas if they would have came out there and lost to Arizona State.
And I'm not saying Quinn Ewers is trash. He's
No,
not trash.
no,
He's
for sure.
capable. He can make all the throws, but he's not anybody's franchise quarterback. Just like he said, if you playing the NCAA football game, he would have a circle and not a star.
Yeah, I mean, and it's that simple. And Scatterbo was able to get the offensive MVP in this game, even though he was on a losing team. And, I mean, this dude, this is just straight effort. This is getting beat off of just 100% effort. That's what he showed the whole game. He had 30 carries. I mean, the dude was tired almost every single play. He got his hands on his knees, tired every single game, after every play, but still going out there and making plays. 8 catches, 99 yards, rushed for 143 yards and 2 touchdowns, threw a 42-yard. The best pass play of the whole game for Arizona State was a pass by Cam Scatterbo. So,
and I think what Cam Scatterbo showed against Texas, because that's probably the best defense in the country.
yeah.
And so for him to go out there and just be a true workhorse, I think Cam Scatterbo is probably a better NFL running back prospect than Ashton Genty at this point. Right?
No, see, look, now you're going to make Kyrell go crazy.
And I'm stirring the pot. I'm stirring the pot.
It's the hat. Taking control of his brain. I don't know what's going on. It's got to be the hat.
But Cam Scatterbo definitely played his way into some more bread. He was already an NFL prospect, but probably going to be a higher grade on the prospect now because he's just a football player. He's going to do terrible in the combine. He's going to run a 4.9, and all the combine guys are going to say, they're going to say, this guy,
run like a lineman.
yeah, they're going to say this guy's terrible. Oh, he's not an NFL player. Hey, man, throw the ball out there. This guy is a football player. He can make plays wherever you need him to. I mean, he led the team. He's the only one that threw a touchdown pass. He led the team in rushing and led the team in receiving. He pretty much tried to win this game by himself. And he was throwing up on the sideline because he said he got waterlogged and drank too much water and started throwing up on the sideline.
And he almost did win the game by himself.
Yeah. He's a 4th and 13 play away from.
Yeah.
Why in the world didn't Arizona State send the house? It's 4th and 13. They fake sent the house. They brought everybody to the line of scrimmage, blitzed the linebackers and a couple DBs, and dropped almost all their linemen off. Why not? That's what gave Quinn that much time to make that pet. Why not just send the house?
Yeah, what I think in that situation, because understand this was a game that at this point shouldn't have even still been a game.
Yeah.
Right? So they didn't want to get too aggressive, if we do a zero blitz, and send the house like you say, that then now we have our DBs are going to be on an island, and then and these UT receivers are great.
Yeah.
So I understand them being a little bit cautious in that call. I probably would have done the same thing.
But then you let the guys. How do you let somebody get behind you at the same time?
Now there's a difference between play calling and execution.
Yeah. No, for sure,
Yeah,
for sure, 100%.
Never let the guy pound him. That was poor execution. But I still agree with the play call.
Yeah. It wasn't that bad. It wasn't that bad of a play call, but it seemed like in the moment, man, you got to send the house and just go in and give him time. But hindsight is 20/20. That's why you were able to even say that. But Texas and them, they came out here and they won this game. Looking forward a little bit to this Ohio State-Texas matchup. First look at this. We'll be able to talk about it more next week on the show as we get closer to the game. But just the first glance of this matchup here, it's hard. After seeing Ohio State blow out Oregon, who's the number 1 seed all year, didn't lose a game, and just manhandled them, and then seeing Texas in the fourth quarter getting manhandled by Arizona State. What's your first thoughts on this matchup with Ohio State and Texas? I know there's no lines out yet. There'll probably be some lines out at the end of this week. But first thoughts, Kyrell, when you see this Texas and Ohio State matchup. Oh, there's a line now. Ohio State's already -6 favorite right now, even though they're playing pretty much a home game at the Cotton Bowl.
Yeah, it's gonna move up.
Yeah, it is. What's your first thoughts on this matchup?
I still like the Texas Longhorns.
Oh, man.
I know Jeremiah Smith just pretty much took the Heisman for next year in this game yesterday. So, but I think that I hope I don't mess up his name. But Izzy Makuba, the safety. I think
Andrew Makuba. Yeah.
So I think he's going to be a stud in the NFL, and I think Texas has the defense to kind of calm those two receivers on the outside, and then I think they have the trenches to stop Travion Henderson and Quinshon Dunkins, and then it's just Will Howard. So at this point, I'm thinking it's going to be another defensive battle, kind of like we saw in Texas and Georgia. And but this really just telling y'all what I think about Oregon. All right, I ain't like Oregon. I don't like Dylan Gabriel. I ain't like them all year. I ain't like them no year.
And he's been playing like 6 years. So
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure we went to high school together. But, I don't like Oregon. I know they were number one, but I really think that they didn't deserve that title. And I think we're gonna get a defensive battle, and I think Texas has the better defense. So it's gonna be exciting. Jeremiah Smith is probably. I'm thinking that's gonna be a number one pick. Like, that's how good that dude is, and he's been like that. So you got the other stud receiver, Boca.
Mbuka.
And then 2 running backs, and outside of that, I'm not sure where Ohio State is really going to make up the talent discrepancy on the line. Like you said, this is the best defense in the country. I know they struggled. I know they lost twice at Georgia, but Georgia's offense never really got going in those games. Mm-hmm. So all those losses, like we don't put those on the defense. We're putting those on Quinn and Sark. So at the end of the day, I'm thinking that this Texas defense and this team has gotten shell-shocked, right? They were not expecting to compete to be in a competitive game with Arizona State. I know they weren't, because they went up early, they scored, they had like 150 yards on 2 plays. And the first it was over with. Right? 3 quarters, they couldn't really make up the difference. And then all of a sudden, 4th quarter, they throwing reverse passes to Cam Scatterbo, and now the game is tied, So it's like, okay. I think they went to sleep and then got woke up late and should have went home, honestly, if it wasn't for the targeting call, which is by the rules should have been a targeting call. I liked it that they didn't call it, because I don't like the targeting.
Man, they don't call back like 5 targeting calls in Texas. What's going on with that, man?
I don't know, but I know it got something to do with Matthew McConaughey. I know it got something to do with him and leather jacket. So I'm liking Texas. I'm thinking it's not going to be a very high scoring game. I think we're going to see a defensive match, and then we're going to see who these 5 stars on the outside of Ohio State really are, and then how good the safeties for Texas is. You guys watched the Oregon Ohio State game. Dude back there doing purees, man. Deep safety. So I'm really interested in to see how. I don't think he's going to be able to do that against these safety studs that they have in Texas. But I'm not confident in that. But I'm taking Texas.
Yeah, I mean, I get that, and like you said, Texas defense and Oregon's defense, those are 2 completely different ball games in my opinion. I've never been sold on Oregon's defense whatsoever this whole year. Even the one game that they had to play in Ohio State, when they played them in Oregon, it was 32-31. It wasn't like it was 10-6 or something like that. Oregon don't have no defense, so this is going to be a completely different defense. My only thing is, you said they do go to sleep, and they've done it against A&M. They've done it against multiple teams, where this Texas defense or a whole team will kind of fall asleep. You fall asleep against Ohio State, you're going to get put to sleep. That's the difference between Arizona State and Ohio State. Is going to be 2 completely different things.
Fell asleep against Clemson.
Fell asleep against Clemson, and Clemson got right back in there.
This is why I'm on the other end of the spectrum, because I think this is going to be a high-scoring game, because Texas does fall asleep on defense. And Ohio State has the roster, and like I said, arguably, okay, these are the 2 best rosters in the country. Let's
for sure.
Let's establish that from top to bottom. So Ohio State, they have the horses that can run. If you let them out the barn, they'll run. They will. Judkins and Henderson and Smith and Mbuka, and when Will Howard isn't the best quarterback in the world, but when Will Howard is on top of his game with those weapons, he's dangerous.
Yeah.
I think it's going to be a high-scoring game, and I think it's going to come down to which team makes the fewer mistakes, because both of these teams are poorly coached, in my opinion. They're both poorly coached.
Yeah.
Ryan Day hadn't done a great job, and we just talked about Sark. So I think it's going to come down to which team can prevent the most flags being thrown against them, and I really fully expect it to be a high-scoring game. I really do.
Yeah, I can see that. I can see that as well as it being high scoring, because, like you said, both defenses, unfortunately, can fall asleep. Ohio State's defense right now in the playoffs is playing the best out of anybody, but we've seen this defense fall asleep multiple times throughout the season, even including against an Oregon team. Oregon's got weapons, of course, on offense, but there was times where they're just giving up 40, 50-yard touchdowns to Evan Stewart or to Tez Johnson, guys like that. So it could be a high-scoring game in this one, and we're just going to have to see who's best is the best going against each other. I think I give Ohio State the edge. I think that Chip Kelly really believes in his head. He is a way better play caller than Steve Sarkisian.
Yeah, he believes that. That don't make it true.
We're not gonna get any good words about Chip Kelly from an Eagles fan, so I'm not expecting that.
Don't bring up Coach Kelly.
I'm not expecting that at all. But I'm not mad at seeing a high-scoring game in that one. And I think this is going to be a really good matchup. It's been a good matchup every time we see Texas versus Ohio State. Even when you go all the way back to Quan Cosby catching that post route and scoring a touchdown in the Fiesta Bowl all those years ago, and so I'm expecting a good game in that. Folks, we got to get into a break. Still got plenty to talk about. Got to talk some more about these games. Coming up next, got a special guest in the house. Got a former Conley Cadet quarterback in Galen Glenn, former Hardin Simmons quarterback as well, and now coaching out of Hardin Simmons. He's going to come on here and talk with us for a few minutes. So stay tuned and stay locked in right here on Centex Primetime. We'll be right back after this short break.
Texas home for sports. It's Centex Sports Network and Infinity Sports. Catch all your in-depth sports analysis with the best. The hottest sports show in the evening is Centex Primetime, hosted by Jalen Gillis.
Act like y'all.
Weekdays 5 to 7. This is the Central Texas #1 leader in sports. Centex Sports Network.
That's right, sports fans. We can talk about sports.
And Infinity Sports.
Hey guys, it's Rocky and Keisha, and at Prosperity Tax Service, we're all about convenience. We get it. Life is busy. Your time is valuable. That's why we've streamlined the entire process to be as hassle-free as possible.
No more sifting through piles of paperwork or spending hours at an office. With Prosperity Tax Service, you can handle your taxes from the comfort of your own home.
Your financial data is in safe hands with us through our secure and user-friendly customer portal at prosperitytax.com. It's your one-stop shop for all things tax-related. Log in anytime from anywhere, whether it's from your couch or on the go.
We are experienced tax professionals, well-versed in handling a variety of tax situations. Receive genuine assistance and competitive pricing from real tax professionals who've seen it all.
We're marking 2 decades as a community-based enterprise here in Waco, Texas. So call us at 254-235-5662 or log on to www.prosperitytax.com. Thanks, guys.
Lighthouse Streaming, a full-scale media agency and your go-to source for all things audio and video. Is your church long overdue for audio and video upgrades? Call Lighthouse Streaming for a free consultation. Does your corporate or church event need audio or video production? Don't stress. Call the guys at Lighthouse Streaming. In business since 2017, Lighthouse Streaming has produced hundreds of live events and completed dozens of church and venue installations. Whatever your AV needs are, Lighthouse Streaming has you covered. Give them a call at 254-252-4206. That's 254-252-4206. Or go to lighthousestreaming.com and set up your free consultation.
Are you looking for something new and unforgettable in Waco? Come to the Blasian Asian, where authentic Cambodian flavors meet creative culinary flair. Voted People's Choice as Waco's #1 Asian restaurant since 2019 by both the Wacoan Magazine and the Waco Tribune Herald. Located inside the popular Union Hall on 8th and Franklin, we're serving up family recipes with a twist. Blasian Asian egg rolls are rolled fresh daily, and their sauces or marinades are made in-house with love. Stop by today. Located inside the popular Union Hall on 8th and Franklin. And for Baylor students, enjoy 10% off with your student ID.
NSJ Event Co., one of the premier event designers in Central Texas and a Centex Sports Network supporter. Voted Waco Awards Event Planner of the Year 2021, NSJ Event Co. is your go-to source for event planning. Whether it's your next baby shower, birthday bash, wedding, or retirement party, NSJ Event Co. will bring out the elegance, class, and style your event deserves. Call NSJ Event Co. at the number on the screen or scan the QR code to schedule a free consultation. NSJ Event Co., where the party lady takes care of all your event needs.
It's the family feels for me. The banana pudding peach cobbler make you want to holler. For me, it's the candy yams, mac and cheese, beef tips, pork tips and rice, collard greens. It's a sweet potato pie, sweetie. Fried chicken you've been missing, the lemon sweet tea dressing on Sundays when you all dressed up. Chest pie, buttermilk, and pound cake. Cornbread with butter just dripping, always fresh baked. If you need Southern style, soul food, home cooked meals that you can feel. Chicken and dumplings, chicken pot pie. 719 South 11th Street. Sassy's, come on by.
Central Texas home for sports. It's Centex Sports Network and Infinity Sports. KWBT-FM, HD2 Waco, Temple, Killeen, Fort Cavazos. The new leader in sports in Central Texas is Centex Sports Network and Infinity Sports. This is live from the Centex Sports Network and Infinity Sports Studios.
That's right, sports fans.
About to show these boys how we do it.
Tune in to Primetime Sports Talk with Jalen Gillis, your go-to source for breaking sports news in Central Texas and exclusive Dallas Cowboys coverage on the Centex Sports Network and Infinity Sports.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome back into Centex Prime Time. Still here in hour number 1. Just got done talking about some Texas football. Texas coming out with the win over Arizona State yesterday in a double overtime game. Previewed a little bit of that Texas and Ohio State matchup. We'll be able to talk way more about that as we get further along into the week. Want to thank everybody for listening in with us today on Centex Magic 94.5, Infinity Sports Radio Central Texas, and also watching on Centex Sports Network as well. Still in here joined by Cedric Eigelhart. We got a special guest up here today with us. Like I said before the break, folks, former Conley Cadet quarterback, former quarterback at Hardin-Simmons, also now coaching up at Hardin-Simmons, Mr. Galen Glenn. Galen, what's going on, bro?
How's it going, man? Excited to be here today.
Hey, I appreciate you stopping by with us, man. First off, just tell us a little bit about what you're getting a chance to do up there at Hardin-Simmons, man. I love to see when guys from this Central Texas area get to go out, especially going to coaching. Like one of your former teammates, Ty, is coaching and recruiting as well, because you guys know more than a lot of people how much talent is in this Central Texas area, and you get a chance to be able to give back by being able to give some of these guys different opportunities. So talk a little bit about what you're doing up there at Hardin-Simmons.
Yeah, like you said, I was able to go out there in 2019, play some ball out there. Got a couple years to play quarterback out there, and kind of ended it off in 2023, bringing the conference championship to the program. And then kind of from there, I kind of knew the direction I wanted to get into with the whole coaching deal and everything. And so big shout out to my head coach. He kind of made it happen for me. I told him I was a GA for I don't think maybe a month and a half, kind of, just getting it out the mud really. And then he just came to me and asked me if I wanted to be on full time. And of course, that's my second home out there. So it wasn't really that hard to, make that decision. And this past year was my first full year, on the other side of it, and we were able to go undefeated, 10-0, getting to the playoffs, another conference championship. So back to back, it was a real historic year and a real special year for me. Just being able to, kind of do what I love on the other side of it, especially with the recruiting aspect of everything. So that was always a nice little neat deal too.
No, and that's definitely true, man. What's that transition like, going from a player to being a coach? Because you did it real quick, like you just said. You go from playing in the conference championship game to coaching in it, and I know it's times where you probably like, man, I know I could do this, or I'm seeing this, I'm doing this, but now you got to sit back and you got to let those guys go out there and handle it. What's that transition like?
Yeah, that's the hardest part of coaching is getting other people to understand kind of what you're seeing, and so that was definitely a learning curve experience and everything. But I think the best part of it was I was doing it at a place that I was comfortable at. A lot of the boys that played this year. And still got some years to play. I was their teammate. I was a captain for them. So kind of transitioning. I was kind of nervous because I was like, I don't know how they're going to take me as, Coach G or whatever the case may be. But once they were kind of leaning on me for that advice, and I'm a big brother to a lot of those youngins out there, I was like, oh, I could do this. This ain't hard at all.
Yeah, it kind of seems to me because you were the quarterback of the team.
Exactly.
So as a quarterback, you're already a leader and pretty much a coach on the field.
Exactly.
So the transition going into the actual coaching, it would seem that now you're coaching guys that you played with. It would seem that your authority was already recognized, correct?
For sure. And like you said, being a quarterback, you kind of already look at the game a different way. You look at it from the bigger, you know, a larger scope, and you kind of know the details of, you know, especially on the offensive side of the ball. So when I was able to, you know, still help the quarterbacks and kind of, I was the kind of the guy on the offensive side of the ball that, you know, I would walk up to the wide receivers and kind of, you know, hey, on this route, get your depth on this route. Or the running backs, hey, make sure you know, check these, you know, blitz, you know, indicators or whatever, because that's just what I'm used to doing as a quarterback to begin with, like you said. So I was just able to kind of, you know, sharpen my game as well of, you know, my football IQ, but also share it with, you know, the people who's still on the field doing it.
Yeah, no, definitely. So now that you're on the coaching side of this, is this seeming like something that's like, man, this is kind of what I'm here to do. I'm here to be a coach, and because some people, you know, they get into coaching for a couple years and then they like, this isn't for me, and I get out of it. Is this seeming like a thing like, man, I kind of want to grow with this and see how far this can take me as far as coaching?
Oh, no doubt. I went to school, literally went to school for it. I got my master's in MBA in sports business and everything, and so, man, I can't see myself doing anything else. I haven't really worked a day yet, you know. It's a blessing to, you know, get up and get to go do what you love, and be pretty good at it and do it with the right group of people and everything. So it's, man, I haven't lost at all with this deal.
Now I understand, as coaching at Hardin-Simmons, your goal at some point in time has to be to move up into the D1 ranks, right?
For sure.
Okay, so I wanted to kind of see, because you're a coach, I want to kind of see how would you approach this modern era of college football with the transfer portal and the NIL?
Man, that's crazy, and a lot of people ask me about that stuff all the time, especially with my, you know, area B being in recruiting. So I'm talking to a lot of these kids who have to deal with that, and parents and all of that, who are interested in knowing, okay, what can I get from coming here, you know? And so I think it's a crazy deal right now, and it's for me personally, I love all of it. I think that I'm not a hater of NIL or the transfer portal. I think if you utilize both of them the correct way, it can literally change your life or get you in a, you know, better position or whatever the case may be. So I think I tell recruits all the time, it's all about just finding out where you want to be and finding that spot that's for you, and not just finding a spot that's for you right now. Because you have to leave home and go to these places for the next, you know, 3, 4, 5 years. And so I think that if you do that prematurely, then that's when you look up and you see dudes hopping in and out the portal. And then like you said, on the D1 ranks, especially up there, where it's a lot of money being moved around. A lot of all of that is very influential in the kid's decision of where he's going to be balling at. It's just, man, it's a time, and I know y'all been around and watched probably a lot more football than me, but I'm just thinking from when I came into college football in 2019, it's changed, and it's only been about 5 years, so it's changing very quickly for sure.
Yeah, it probably seems like night and day almost from when you first came in at 2019.
Yeah, no doubt.
There wasn't a transfer portal, there wasn't NIL, none of that stuff happened.
None of that.
It's a completely different ball game now, and everybody, we're in here talking with Galen Glenn, who's a former Conley Cadet player and now a coach up at Hardin-Simmons. I want to talk a little bit about your time at Conley, man, because when you were at Conley, I was still working with Centex Sports, and we had just started covering you guys, and I call that, in my opinion, like almost like Conley's golden era of talent, and you were part of that. You were there with, I came there, and I'm like, man, there's so many good football players on this Conley team that I just wasn't turned on to yet until we started covering you guys. I'm like, man, a lot of these guys can really play, and I feel like it's just evolved year after year after year, and you were part of kind of one of those first classes that started with a lot of you guys going off and playing ball at some of these colleges, D1 offers. You got to play with guys like Javion Sunday and a lot of those other guys, Corey Black, who was at Oklahoma State. And talk about your time at Conley, and then just seeing that evolution of guys coming all the way up, guys that were probably a lot of little brothers to you, like Jelani and Kobe and these guys that are playing at Texas now.
Yeah, no, it's great to see all of those guys, like you just said. A lot of the youngest that were youngest when I'm there, they're not youngest no more. They doing it big now. So, but yeah, coming up, you know, I appreciate my time at Conley. Just being able, and I remember that was my senior year when y'all were kind of coming around and everything, and we were loaded with talent. And it's still like that, and I think it's like that for this entire area, to be honest.
It is.
And so yeah, my time at Conley was a fun deal, especially that senior season. Man, it was a bunch of comeback wins,
Yeah,
tight games, and
it definitely
game
was.
winners and all of that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
It's kind of hard to forget that. And then, like you said, playing with a lot of those guys, Corey, Javion, KG.
Yeah,
man.
Just seen he declared for the draft. Matter of fact, I seen it on Instagram.
I did. That's why I said they all big timers.
Yeah.
Now. They all big timers now. But man, yeah, this, like you said, this area is loaded, man. Conley's loaded. I like, keeping up, especially because this is my home city. So I'm keeping up with guys, throughout my year as well, and I'm watching how, I know a lot of the coaches in this area just because of how, the coaching deal works and everything. So I'm keeping up with coaches who coach me as well and everything. So it was a neat deal for sure.
I'm gonna ask a question, and this may sound antagonistic. But I'm not meant to be that way. But Coach Glenn, Conley has a rich history of talent.
Yeah.
But what does Conley have to do as a program to kind of establish themselves the way that La Vega has established themselves as not just a perennial playoff team, but as a threat to win state every year?
Yeah, like you said, I don't think it's a matter of lack of talent and guys and dudes. Because I mean, even if you know this area well, Lacey, Lakeview, and Bellmead, they're right by you. A lot of these kids are friends. A lot of them grow up together. I remember when I was playing in Conley, I grew up with and played with and against dudes who was over at La Vega and everything. I was just I think it was just a matter of two different programs, and I think we see this everywhere in college football, NFL as well. It's just kind of when the culture is set and the leadership of those cultures are set, then the expectations are a little bit different. And so I think, like you said, and I think that Conley is heading in the right direction for sure now.
Yeah.
But like you said, when it was my senior year as our time, we were kind of the starters of, okay, we can hang with dudes. We can get on the field and we can play with anybody.
Sure.
And it's not just it's just La Vega or Waco High or Midway or whoever you want to say in the area really. And so I think that and a lot of kids who go to Conley now, they grew up watching myself, dudes that we just mentioned a minute ago. So they're like, okay, I could be them. I can go do something like that. And so once you get a culture or something like that, then you just got to get on the field and just go ball now, which I know they can do for sure.
Yeah, and like you said, it's so much talent in this area, and that's why I love doing what I do and getting to highlight a lot of these kids in this Central Texas area. Because for years, I mean, I grew up here as well, just seeing so many talented guys that just didn't get that shot, or maybe they just didn't get that offer, or didn't get that. Now seeing these guys getting a chance to go to the Texas and go to all these big schools out here, man, it's great to see, and I hope that it can continue. And hopefully we'll get more people from this area like yourself coaching, because you guys can hone in on this talent, man. There's talent for every level in the Central Texas area, for JUCO, for D2, for D1 AA, D1, wherever you're at. It's talent for all those levels right here in the Central Texas area. While we got you on here, man, I know that you're a football fan and that you've been tuned in to a lot of these games. We just got done talking about this Texas-Arizona State game. You get a chance to watch some of that, and then what was your thoughts on getting a chance to watch that UT versus Arizona State game?
Well, it wasn't what I expected at all. In a good way, though. It was a very good game.
It was.
And like y'all said, y'all said it, man. Texas came out and like 2 plays. It was. I was like, okay, Texas is probably about to run away with this one, because I'm just thinking Arizona State, I don't know if they're, and they got a great team.
They do.
I just didn't know if they were going to be able to match it on that level. And like y'all said, their team is, I mean, the quarterback is, the running back for sure, without a doubt is. We know he is. They're just grinders, man. And so they just stuck with the game. Sometimes you just got to ride the wave of those big games and just stay level and keep fighting and keep battling. And then when it got down to the end, it was just so much. I mean, you can go on the 4th and 13, like you said, the targeting call that I think by definition of the rule book should have been a targeting call.
Yeah,
but
definitely.
I also think it's just football as well. And I'm a quarterback saying that. So I think it was a great game, though. And I like to see those type of games in the playoffs. And I know the committee and all of that, and that's a big topic, too, when it comes to selecting these teams and making sure that they're competitive games and all of that. That's a game I want to see in the playoffs. And it didn't start that way at first, but it ended just like I think we all as football fans want to see.
Oh, definitely.
So from a coaching standpoint, because we always talk about football from a fan standpoint.
Exactly.
We just fanboys.
Yeah.
From a coaching standpoint, what's your take on Texas versus Ohio State?
Like y'all said, these are some of the best rosters. I mean, they say Ohio State has the best roster that you can buy in football.
$20 million roster.
Yeah.
So it's
Very elite.
but also if you look over at Texas, you got a star quarterback in Quinn Ewers. You got one of the Trey Wisner from this area, stud running back, wide receivers that can go. And then on the other side of the ball for Texas, they have a monster defense. And so when you're looking at it, it's going to be a game of in big games like this, it's going to come down to playmakers just making plays. Who's going to make that big play? And it's probably going to be about 5 plays in the game that's going to ultimately determining the game or the outcome of it. So it's just a matter of who's going to make it and when those plays are going to be made. And so those are the type of games that I like. I think they're, they have decent, good coaches on either side of the ball or either side of the sideline. So I'm just ready to see those big moments that we're going to be looking back and say, hey, this guy made that play and it changed the game.
Yeah, no, for sure. And I think it's 2 guys that come to mind when you say that as far as for both teams. I think on Ohio State side, everybody thinks of Jeremiah Smith and all these big-name guys. I'm looking at a dude like Jack Sawyer, who just wrecked the game yesterday for Oregon, their DN, 5-star guy for Ohio State. And then on Texas, it's the same way, except their best pass rusher is a true freshman, and Colin Simmons, who I said when I watched him in Duncanville High School that in 3 years, this dude's going to be a top 5 pick. Absolutely. And it is 100% coming true, even though he's only a freshman. He's going to for sure be a top 5 pick. And I think those 2 guys are the biggest playmakers in this game because they got the only 2 guys that have the ability to just completely wreck a game plan for both offenses. And I fully expect it to be a really good game.
I think the X factor for Texas, and now I'm not picking Texas to win this game, but if Texas were to win this game, I think the X factor for Texas is the tight end Gunnar Helm. Because tight ends are always pretty much open. They run these underneath routes. They're covered by linebackers primarily. And I think if they can find a way because nobody's going to let Golden beat you. Nobody's going to let Isaiah Bond beat you. So that makes room for tight ends. And I think Gunnar Helm and he's very capable. We've seen he's capable. He has decent numbers. I think it's going to come down to them just checking down to the tight end and just to move the sticks. That's
going to be important because, like you said, they're not going to let Isaiah Bond just be one-on-one all game. They're not going to let Golden just be one-on-one all game. So Gunnar Helm is definitely a guy that can get some wiggle room to get loose. Galen, since you're not only a coach but a former quarterback, when you're looking at the quarterbacks coming out in this year's draft, you got Shador and you got a Cam Ward and you got potentially a Quinn Ewers, potentially a Carson Beck, and all these guys coming out. Who do you think is that top guy coming out in this year's quarterback draft? Everybody's saying Shador. Some people are saying Cam has now jumped up in a lot of people's minds as he might be the number 1 pick taken overall. Who do you think are those top guys as far as the quarterback position coming out this year?
If I had to bank on one, pro-ready, I think right now, because I think that's what it boils down to. Who's going to be ready to go play pro football right now? I think it's a tough one, man, because I think Shador has all the tools. I mean, his arm talent is good enough. I think at times it was kind of hard to kind of gauge behind that Colorado O-line.
Yes.
So that's anytime you're put in a position like that, that's always tough. But I think he definitely has the talent. But I like Cam Ward. I like Cam Ward as well. I like his poise. I think he's very in tune with quarterbacking. And I think that you kind of need those things naturally to be able to transition into the NFL because it's going to be a jump anyways.
Yeah.
It's going to be a transition. It's going to be something that, some growing pains that come with it.
For sure.
But definitely those 2 guys, and if, I don't know how much y'all keep up with them, and I'm sure y'all do a lot, but they train together all the time in the offseason. And they're real competitive with each other.
Yeah, for a couple of years.
So that's a great group of quarterbacks coming into the league. And I'm rooting for both of them. I hope both of them come in and kill it, man. I hope both of them just come in and absolutely take over and get with their, whoever wants to draft them and they take off with it.
We had a little disparaging conversation about Dylan Gabriel. What's your take on Dylan Gabriel as a quarterback?
I think, and we saw him break that record yesterday. He's played a lot of football. And so when playing quarterback, it's one of those things that you can only get better as you play it. And so that's definitely an upside for him playing, just being super experienced. And I think a lot of the quarterbacks going into the draft this year are all experienced.
Yeah.
They played a lot of football in this COVID area and everything. He can transfer now. So that's a good deal. But I like Dillon Gabriel. I think that, he has a good arm. He's a lefty. He's got a good arm. But I think that he can also kind of make plays on the ground when you need to. And I think that's kind of just where the game is trending right now. Be able to sit back there in the pocket and make all those throws. But when you got D linemen and linebackers, especially on the professional level, who can run just as fast as your running back and wide receiver, you got to be able to get out the pocket sometimes and make plays. So I think his game will translate to the league as well.
Yeah. I think Dillon Gabriel, I see him kind of in that in his most successful place. I see him more as a Baker Mayfield type of quarterback with less arm talent, because Baker Mayfield got a cannon. Yeah. He don't get a lot of credit for that, but he can sling the football. But I see him kind of in that area, like you said, a guy that's mobile enough to be able to get away from pressure. He's not just a statue sitting back there in the pocket. So I see he's got a place in the league.
He kind of reminds me of there's a Drake Mayfield to him.
Yeah, or Drake May too, who played a lot better as of late for the New England Patriots. Before we let you go, I want to talk a little bit of NFL. There's been a lot of debate on who should be the MVP this year. Lamar Jackson, Josh Allen, Saquon, who we're going to talk about in a second. We got the Philly man right here, but who's going to sit out and not attempt to go and get the record, but he's still in that conversation. No matter if he doesn't play another game or not, he's still right in that conversation as far as MVP. What's your take on this, man, as far as who should be the MVP? And Joe Burrow's in there too. Can't leave Joe out of that because he's drugged this team from 3-6 to 8-8 now and finna play for a chance to get into the playoffs on Sunday against the Steelers. What's your take on this MVP thing in the NFL right now?
Man, I've been keeping up with Saquon all year. I think hands down he's the best running back in the league right now.
For sure.
He has made some crazy plays. I think that we all know that throughout the year.
Yeah.
The backwards jumping.
That's ridiculous, man.
In the middle of
that's ridiculous, man.
Never seen anything like
that. That's ridiculous.
And I can't discredit him for what he's doing. And like you said, he's going to sit out this game and come short of that record a little bit. But he's had a tremendous year.
For sure.
But Lamar, man, he's different.
He's different.
And I know they already say that the MVP, it's a quarterback award or whatever the case may be. But the things that Lamar is doing, man, he's a winner.
Yeah.
He's a winner. You can hate him. You can love him. You can not like the way he plays. He needs to run more. He needs to run less, whatever the case may be. The best stat as a quarterback is 1-0, and that's what he keeps doing for his team, and he keeps helping them win, and he's a big part of why they're winning.
Huge.
And man, I'm ready to go watch him win that bowl, man. That's the only thing that he's really missing on his resume.
Yeah.
So once he goes and wins that Super Bowl, man, he's going to cement himself as a generational player, no doubt.
Oh, for sure.
And I think when you watch Lamar Jackson, because Lamar has my vote as well, because when you watch Lamar Jackson. And Jalen, you can attest to this. As you go from level to level to level, right, from high school to college to pro, the game just gets faster.
Yeah.
And he dominates games. I mean, literally, it's like he can do whatever he wants to do. And so to be able to play the game from a skill standpoint at that level, you're making everybody else look regular.
Yeah.
And this is what Michael Vick had that aspect to.
Yeah.
Randy Moss had that aspect to.
Oh, yeah.
You see what I'm saying? So when you can dominate at the highest level of football, yeah, you're different.
Yeah.
You're different. And hats off to Josh Allen. I know he was kind of de-weaponized this year with, Diggs leaving and Davis leaving. I get that. And he still put up his numbers. Great player. Saquon, best running back in the league by far, great player. Joe Burrow, literally dragging the Cincinnati Bengals to the where they can still get a playoff spot because their defense is terrible. He got to go out here and throw 5 touchdowns every Sunday, and he's doing that.
Yeah, he
so
is.
Hats off to him. But Lamar Jackson just dominates every game that he's in.
Yeah. Every single game that he's in, he's top 10 in passing yards. He's actually at number 6. He's got a chance to finish with the best QBR in NFL history, which is absolutely ridiculous. He already broke Michael Vick's rushing record for probably the only rushing record that was left to even be broke by Lamar. Lamar is my favorite player, so he's got my vote. 39 touchdowns, 4 interceptions is a crazy stat to be able to say you're right under 4,000 yards. When I saw Lamar Jackson, I was a fan of his when he played as a freshman at Florida State. I mean, at Louisville. When I saw that game, he played against Florida State, and Florida State was like number 6 or 7 in the country. It was an early morning game, 11 o'clock. I said, this dude's got to be the number 1 pick. I can't remember ever watching somebody, since Cam at Auburn, watching somebody completely dominate a team by themselves. No one on that Louisville team even went to the pros. Yeah. They ain't play a snap besides Jair Alexander, who's the corner.
I just want to ask you, Galen, because you played the position. How difficult is it to be in such total control? Like, because when Lamar is on the field with his offense, he's in full control, and I like to say it's almost like he can do whatever he wants to do. How hard is it to do that from the quarterback position?
Yeah, I mean, you when you're able to touch the ball every play, and like you said, I think you hit it right on the head with it. This is the NFL.
Yeah.
Right. Everybody on the field can play. Everybody on the field can play. But when you look at Lamar, you would think it's just like he's head above. It's crazy.
Yeah.
It's like he makes other professionals look like they're not as good as what they really are. And so I was sitting up on Christmas, and I'm a Houston Texans fan, and we did not look good.
Myself as well.
Not at all.
I didn't want to talk about it, but yeah.
But it was that play when he's rolling to the sideline.
Yeah. Yes.
Pump fakes, still looking, pump fakes, and then find somebody in the like it's plays like that you're like, who else can make these plays?
Nobody.
Like this? And he does this on a regular basis. Like, this is not just accidental lucky plays. He does, like, this is what we expect him to do. So when you're able to take a game and literally do that every game, it's hard to look at him and say, man, how is he not the best player in the league right now?
Yeah. And should be the face of the league. I know he's not exactly what they want.
Yeah, he's not
as the face of the league. He got the slugs in his mouth sometimes. He got the chains on, the jewelry. He gonna look like South Florida when he come in there.
And how is a guy like this, as talented as him, as dominant as him, how is he still getting criticized?
I mean,
it's like, because like, okay, first it was like, well, you run too much, and now it's like, well, you don't run enough. Like, so he's always criticized.
Always.
It's like they just refuse to embrace this guy as being pretty much the best player in your league.
Hey, well, eventually he's going to put it in your face as he's doing right now, and there's no denying it at this point. We can watch Mahomes play. We can watch whoever play. Best player in football right now is number 8, wearing purple up there in Baltimore. So hopefully he'll be able to get that MVP. We're only a couple weeks from being able to see who gets that MVP. Galen, man, appreciate you coming on the show, man. Hopefully we can do this some more, get you to call in and stuff like that, check in with us some more, man.
No doubt.
Definitely fun having you on here. So I appreciate you coming down, taking some time out your day to come out here and check us out. And like I said, hopefully we'll get to do this some more, man, for sure.
Yeah, no doubt, man. I enjoyed it. Appreciate y'all for letting me get on here with y'all.
Oh, no problem. No problem. Folks, we got to get into a break. When we come back, hour number 2 of the show, still got to talk about Ced's Eagles and the Saquon situation. We still got to talk about a couple more of these games in the college football playoffs. So plenty to talk about. Stay tuned and stay locked in right here on Centex Primetime. We'll be right back after this break.
Central Texas home for sports. It's Centex Sports Network and Infinity Sports. Catch all your in-depth sports analysis with the best. The hottest sports show in the evening is Centex Primetime, hosted by Jalen Gillis.
Act like y'all.
Weekdays 5 to 7. This is the Central Texas #1 leader in sports. Centex Sports Network.
That's right, sports fans. We can talk about sports.
And Infinity Sports.
No, not at all. No,
Lighthouse Streaming, a full-scale media agency and your go-to source for all things audio and video. Is your church long overdue for audio and video upgrades? Call Lighthouse Streaming for a free consultation. Does your corporate or church event need audio or video production? Don't stress. Call
annuities and holding them full term.
2017, Lighthouse Streaming has produced hundreds of live events and completed dozens of church and venue installations. Whatever your AV needs are, Lighthouse Streaming has you covered. Give them a call at 254-252-4206. That's 254-252-4206. Or go to lighthousestreaming.com and set up your free consultation.
Boys on the field to see it, how we do it. But once they actually do
Hey guys, it's Rocky and Keisha, and at Prosperity Tax Service, we're all about convenience. We get it. Life is busy. Your time is valuable. That's why we've streamlined the entire process to be as hassle-free as possible.
No more sifting through piles of paperwork or spending hours at an office. With Prosperity Tax Service, you can handle your taxes from the comfort of your own home.
Your financial data is in safe hands with us through our secure and user-friendly customer portal at prosperitytax.com. It's your one-stop shop for all things tax-related. Log in anytime, from anywhere, whether it's from your couch or on the go.
We are experienced tax professionals, well-versed in handling a variety of tax situations. Receive genuine assistance and competitive pricing from real tax professionals who've seen it all.
We're marking 2 decades as a community-based enterprise here in Waco, Texas. So call us at 254-235-5662 or log on to www.prosperitytax.com. Thanks, guys.
It's the family feels for me. The banana pudding peach cobbler make you want to holler for me. It's the candy yams, mac and cheese, beef tips, pork tips and rice, collard greens. It's a sweet potato pie, sweetie. Fried chicken you've been missing, the lemon sweet tea dressing on Sundays when you all dressed up. Chest pie, buttermilk, and pound cake. Cornbread with butter just dripping, always fresh baked. If you need Southern style, soul food, home cooked meals that you can feel. Chicken and dumplings, chicken pot pie. 719 South 11th Street. Sassy's, come on by.
NSJ Event Co., one of the premier event designers in Central Texas and a Centex Sports Network supporter. Voted Waco Awards Event Planner of the Year 2021, NSJ Event Co. is your go-to source for event planning. Whether it's your next baby shower, birthday bash, wedding, or retirement party, NSJ Event Co. will bring out the elegance, class, and style your event deserves. Call NSJ Event Co. at the number on the screen or scan the QR code to schedule a free consultation. NSJ Event Co., where the party lady takes care of all your event needs.
Central Texas home for sports. It's Centex Sports Network and Infinity Sports. KWBT-FM, HD2 Waco, Temple, Killeen, Fort Cavazos. The new leader in sports in Central Texas is Centex Sports Network and Infinity Sports.
Holy Jesus. What is that?
It's time to get in the game.
Do you know what time it is?
Tune in to Primetime Sports Talk with Jalen Gillis.
To me, you are nothing.
Your go-to source for breaking sports news in Central Texas and exclusive Dallas Cowboys coverage.
Come on, start it up. Let's go.
Catch us Monday through Thursday from 5 to 7 p.m. on the Centex Sports Network and Infinity Sports.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome back into Centex Prime Time here. Hour number 2 of the show here today. Want to thank everybody for tuning in with us so far today. Just had Coach, now Galen Glenn, on the show. Former Conley Cadet quarterback, former Hardin-Simmons quarterback, and now a coach out there at Hardin-Simmons doing big things out there. Want to thank everybody for listening in with us today on Centex Magic 94.5. Also, Infinity Sports Radio, Central Texas, and always on Centex Sports Network. Still in here, joined the studio by Kyrell Gibson and Ced Eichelhart, both here in studio with me. As want to go through a couple more of these games. Got to talk about this Texas versus Arizona State game. We also got to talk a little bit about previewing the matchup of Texas and Ohio State. Right now, Ohio State a 6-point favorite in that game as of right now. Notre Dame and Georgia playing. I know a lot of you guys are watching that or were watching that if you're in your cars now listening to this. Georgia in position to score on Notre Dame's 16-yard line, first down at 10. 10 minutes and 50 seconds left to go, but they're trailing by 13 points. We'll see if Notre Dame is able to pull this one out, or will Georgia pull off another comeback with a backup QB. Want to go to some of these other games that we saw in the college football playoffs. Just talked about the Texas-Arizona State game. Talk a little bit about the other game that wasn't as interesting, and the blowout we saw yesterday with Ohio State and Oregon. Now, we've all sat on here and said Ohio State, they got the best roster, and they paid for it. Like, as we all know, they paid for the best roster out there. I said before this game started that I thought Ohio State would come out here and beat Oregon. I didn't think they were going to get up on them 34-0 to start the game. I can't come out here and claim that I expected that, but I did expect them to be able to come out with the win in that game, and they did just that. Blew out Oregon pretty much the whole time. Chip Kelly got a little bit of revenge on his old team, on Oregon. And Oregon just looked outmatched, which I knew they were going to be outmatched because Ohio State's better than them. probably at every single position outside of quarterback. Dylan Gabriel is a better quarterback than Will Howard, but outside of that, everybody else is better. Jeremiah Smith looked unstoppable. This is a guy, like Kyrell said, could be a number 1 pick in the draft in the future. I think he might be the number 1 pick in the draft if he came out right now. It would be a toss-up between him and Travis Hunter, whichever type of way you're trying to go. But this guy is a man-child. I have no idea how he's 18. I'm sure they already checked his birth certificate and all that kind of stuff, but apparently this guy's 18 years old. Looks like the best receiver in college football already. And this is only his first year. We know what Travion Henderson can do. He had 2 touchdowns, 94 carries. We know what Quinshon Judkins can do. He had a great game as well. The defense is what came out and stepped up, in my opinion, and took it to another level, which they're also all 5-star guys in the defense. Cody Simon, 5-star. He had 2 sacks and just wrecked that game yesterday. Jack Sawyer had a couple sacks, just wrecked that game yesterday. Caleb Downs, who was a true freshman at Alabama last year and was probably their best player or one of their best players last year, transferred up to Ohio State. He's up there. Denzel Burke, who don't know why he came back. He was going to be a first-round pick last year. I don't know if he's going to be a first-round pick this year at corner, but he's still a really good player. So this team is just super talented. Said, first thoughts about this game yesterday, Ohio State versus Oregon.
Yeah, you just see what happens when my guys are better than your guys. That's what it boiled down to. This was not, there wasn't a whole lot of coaching that needed to be involved, from Ryan Day and Chip Kelly. I'm about to rinse my mouth out now. But no, you see what happens when you just have more athletes than the other team does.
Yeah.
And this is all it was. It was just big bank take little bank type stuff.
Yeah, honestly.
So 34-0, and they did it without really breaking a sweat.
Yeah.
It's just we just have so much talent on our team. We can basically just call anything, and it's gonna work because even if you have a guy in position to make a play, well, guess what? My athlete. Well, our athlete, your athlete.
Yeah, pretty much.
You know what I'm saying? So, and that's what we saw.
Yeah, and I agree. We just saw, like you said, big bang take little bang. I mean, these guys were just better than them on both sides of the ball, honestly, and they came out there and they proved it. Kyra, what was your first thoughts about this Ohio State and Oregon game?
They get back.
Yeah.
Get back.
Yeah, I'm telling you.
I was thinking about, the loss they had earlier in the season where Will Howard slid too late. Didn't get a chance. And I think that's what you saw when they went up big in the first couple minutes of the game. And it's just like, they weren't going to play around. Jeremiah Smith. All right, let's talk about this dude because 18 years old,
crazy,
6'2", 225. I think every play he made was over. Well, except for when he made that dude do a ballet spin or puree back there. But he beat 2 players on every single big play he had. He moused Fitzgerald, whatever you want to call it. 2, but 3 was in the area. But we're gonna call it 2. And then he ran through 2 people who was trying to tackle him. Where did they find this kid? Cause
Florida.
Yeah, what's going on, man? Because he's 18.
Yeah.
All right, like 18 years old. And look at him, and then look at the other stud out there in Alabama, Ryan Williams.
He looks 18.
Yeah, he looks 18.
Yeah.
This kid.
What they been feeding this kid up here? Okay?
Dude look like a lineman, a linebacker.
Because I watched the interview. He's like, yes, ma'am. I'm like, that's a kid. But why is he in this body?
He's 6'3", 220, bro.
He reminds me of David Boston. Remember David Boston?
Yeah.
Big, strong, muscled up guy. He reminds me a lot of David Boston, but he's way more talented than David Boston.
Yeah. I was going to say a guy like Anquan Bolden, except he's fast and he can jump out. Bolden wasn't jumping high and he wasn't fast, but he was a really good receiver. But, man, I'm like you. Where do y'all get this kid from? This dude is a man-child out here, a man amongst boys. And, man, that was really just this entire game with Ohio State versus Oregon. It was just guys being bigger and faster and stronger than your guys. Now, it's going to be a completely different ball game against Texas, and we just talked about that a second ago because these guys are big and fast and strong just like you are. So it's going to be the battle of the 5 stars. It's 5 stars on both sides when these two clash and meet together. So can't wait to be able to see that game. Like I said, we'll talk more about that game as we get later on throughout the week. That game is on the 10th. Already at 6:30. They already got the time and everything. They ready for this game. But Yeah, that game is at 6:30 on the 10th. Ohio State versus Texas. Rematch of the Fiesta Bowl in 09. Rematch of, forget what bowl they played in like 02, 03, one of those bowls that they played in back then. But really good game. Two of the best talented teams. Quinn Ewers, this is also his former team where he came to out of college before he came to Texas, where I think he might actually go back to after this is done. It depends. Thinks he's going to the league. Whichever way it goes, this is going to be a really good matchup, Ohio State and Texas. Want to look a little bit at the game we saw on the night before that, which turned out how I definitely expected this one to turn out. If there wasn't any other games I got right, I definitely got this one right. Penn State versus Boise State. Penn State wins 31-14 in this game. Nothing special about this game whatsoever. This is exactly what I thought was going to happen. Boise State's been playing Wyoming all year, and Penn State is a Power 4 football team. This is what's going to happen when you play a good Power 4 football team versus guys that play Nevada every other year. Too big, too strong. Like I said before the game, too much Katron Allen, too much Nick Singleton. We don't need Drew Allen to throw the ball all over the place, and I see his draft stock is rising. I'm like, man, don't y'all get faked into taking another one of these quarterbacks, man. It's rising and rising. Don't get faked because his team is winning. He went 171 yards and 13 completions. Don't get faked into taking this dude in the top 10, please. One of these teams out here that need a quarterback, do not get faked by this guy.
Somebody will.
They will. They do it every year.
They do it every year.
If Mr. Trubisky got drafted top 3, anything is possible. So Drew Allen could definitely be a top pick. But Katron Allen in this game, 134 yards. Nick Singleton, 12 carries, 87 yards and a touchdown. Tyler Warren, 2 head tap touchdowns in the end zone. I mean, this dude is super talented at the tight end position. He's going to be a first-round pick for sure. Reminds me a lot of Brock Bowers. Yeah. I think a more athletic Brock Bowers, as a matter of fact, this Tyler Warren kid is. On the other side, I knew they were just going to be outmatched. They were going to force Boise State to throw the ball. Madsen, he's been good, but he's good against, UNLV and Wyoming. That's who he's good against. State. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, San Jose State. That's who he's good against. He comes out here against Penn State, throws 3 picks. Ashton Genty, he's good against all those other guys. I'm not saying he's not going to be good. He'll be good in the league too. But as far as the, top running back in college of all time, I don't even have him in my top 5, honestly. Now, that's just me. You could put him wherever you want him to. I don't think he's better than, obviously he's nowhere near Barry Sanders, but I don't think he had a better year than Derrick Henry had in the SEC. I don't think he had a better year than either one of Melvin Gordon. Melvin Gordon did it twice. What we just saw Ashton Genty do. Melvin Gordon did it twice up there at Wisconsin playing against Big Ten talent. So, but Ashton Genty in this game, 30 carries, 104 yards, no touchdowns. They were able to bottle him up. He had a 26-yard run. That's how he was able to get to that 100-yard mark. But just outmatching this game, Kyrie, I'll start with you, man. What was your thoughts when watching this Penn State Boise State game?
Yeah, man, this was an easy game to pick. That's a Power 4 team. I don't know how they got into I don't think they should have been in the playoff, honestly. And,
I think they could have get in, but the bye is crazy. Having the bye was what was crazy. I think they could get in.
Yeah, they weren't supposed to be on the field with them. They're good. They're a good team for Boise State, but Ashton Genty, your draft stock's not going to fall at all. I respected the game. That's a top 5 defense in the entire college football. Things like if y'all want to talk about that he didn't have blow him out the water, man. Like, hey, that's a 9-man box right there, okay? Like, at the end of the day, you can't come out here and run the ball 45 times and expect your quarterback or other 10 players not to do much. What I looked at, if you want to say Ashton Genty isn't who he is, I wholeheartedly agree about the top 5 thing. He's been too many great running backs. We were talking about Ricky Williams earlier.
And bring up Ricky.
But Ashton Genty does deserve to be a first-round draft pick, and he will be a good running back in the league. Go back and watch the game. He's breaking tackles. All right, that's what you want to see from your running back. The Tyler Warren, Brock Bowers, Jalen. I ain't seen Tyler Warren take a slant at the X and to the house. Like
that's true.
Some DBs. Now Tyler Warren gonna be nice, but Brock Bowers is that man is gonna be nasty. Rookie of the year.
I was going to push back on that too, but I didn't want to say nothing.
No, you're good. You're good.
Hey, he do got some vert though. He got a vert.
That's what I was thinking about when I said athleticism. He can jump out the gym. He can jump. Brock Bowers much more. He's a lot faster than Tyler Warren for sure. I mean, that's not even close.
But Penn State did what they were supposed to. Boise State did what they were supposed to.
Yeah.
Nothing surprised me about this game. Nobody's draft stock dropped. Honestly, I know it's a different game, but if anything, I think Cam, Scatterbo. Yeah, Scatterbo. Like he kind of closed the gap on Genty for me. He had a lot to say about not being mentioned as the top running back in the college football this year. So I think that was a good day for him. But Ashton Genty is still going to be wherever he was going to go before that game. That's where he's going after.
I agree.
That's not changing.
I agree with that. Yeah. Ashton Genty knew going into this game that the game plan was don't let Ashton Genty beat us. Right. So that's why he saw all these eight man boxes and things like that. What we saw out of this Boise State game was the moment was too big for Matthew Maddox.
Yeah, Madison. Madsen.
Yeah, three picks.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So when you're going against a power program like Penn State,
mm-hmm.
and you already know we're a one-trick pony.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, now it's a great trick.
Yeah.
But it's the only trick we have.
Yeah.
So if we can't pull this trick off, then you know that okay, now there's going to be more pressure on the quarterback and the receivers to produce. And we just saw they just didn't have the talent on the roster to do that.
No.
So yeah, not surprised by the outcome of the game. I did think that Boise State had a puncher's chance just because of the fact that if you can get Genty going some kind of way, because like Kyron said, he does break a lot of tackles. Even when you're game planning against him, just because the guy is in the hole, he can get out. He can still, come out of that hole.
Mm-hmm.
So I thought they had a puncher's chance. But when I saw that they just were not going to let him do anything at all, 30 carries, one for 26 yards and barely broke 100, just nothing there for him all day long. And once I saw that, I was like, yeah, they just don't have anything anywhere else, anything else to do,
Yeah, and that was my whole issue with them being a 3 seed, with them getting a bye week. Like, why are we giving these guys we know what's going to happen. Let's get this part over with early. They're going to get smacked by whoever they play out of these 12 teams in this college football playoffs.
If they didn't get the bye, do you think they were like of the 12 teams that made the playoffs, do you think they were the least talented team by far? Like,
yes.
Because SMU
is more talented than them.
Okay.
SMU got a few guys on there that can go play at the next level. Only person playing the next level on Boise State is Ashton Genty. Everybody else, great college career. That's a wrap. That's a wrap. You're not going at the next level. And that was just evident playing this defense, and most of the guys that are going to the league off Penn State are on the defense. So that was just a terrible matchup for them. I mean, you trying to run over Abdul Carter. He's going to be a top 5, top 10 pick in the draft that's coming up here. So this outmatching, like we said, nothing we didn't expect. I just, let's get this part out the way early. Them versus SMU definitely would have been a more competitive game. That would have been more fun to watch. It would have been high scoring. Neither one's playing in the defense. It would have been bombs away out there, and to see Ashton Genty probably would have got 200, 250 yards maybe playing them. But against a Penn State, there's some big old boys on Penn State, man. You're not going to be able to do that. So Penn State comes out with a win. Looking forward to Penn State playing in what looks like right now Notre Dame, which is a game that, wow, I really wouldn't want to see. If I said, let's just pick who's my best matchups out of this college football playoffs, did I think I wanted to see a Penn State versus a Notre Dame game? Absolutely not. I did not want to see that, but that looks like what we're going to see. And as of right now, just looking at it, I don't know which way to go with this. Seeing Penn State beat Notre Dame, I would probably say that just because Notre Dame, in my opinion, has yet to play an impressive game, and they're winning right now. And the people that aren't watching with us in the studio and are listening, we got the game up on the TV. They're winning right now. Notre Dame hasn't done anything impressive in 2 games of this college football playoff. They beat Indiana, and that was okay, but they obviously way outmatched Indiana, and it still was a 27-17 win. They're playing against Georgia with a backup quarterback right now, and their offense still can't get anything going. They're really just capitalizing off of Stockton's mistakes. So I see Penn State being able to come out with a win against this Notre Dame team. Yeah. Just a first look preview at this game. What y'all think?
Your national champion is going to be the winner of Texas and Ohio State.
For sure.
And I don't even think it's going to be close.
No.
Penn State, to me, they've been kind of fraud all year.
Yes.
Like you said, Notre Dame, very unimpressive. the reason that they're winning against Georgia right now is because Georgia's playing a true freshman at quarterback.
Yeah.
First start.
Yeah,
right?
first start of the entire career.
The moment's kind of too big for this kid right now, and I would be shocked. I would literally be stunned if the winner of Penn State Notre Dame wins the national championship.
I would willingly throw away this whole college football season if Notre Dame or Penn State wins the national championship. I'll just stop talking about college football. I'll go on suspension next year if one of those two win this national, because you couldn't have paid me to say that Notre Dame or Penn State, who I picked as pretenders, like you just said all year long I picked both of those two guys specifically as pretenders, and now look at both of them finna be in the Final Four college football playoffs. Kyrell, first thoughts on Penn State, Notre Dame potentially playing the semifinals?
Nobody's impressed me. Actually, to me, I know we just took a crap on Boise State, but Penn State has been the most impressive team outside of, to me, all season. Ohio State's had their ups and downs, and Texas is. We know Texas. Can't trust Texas. I wouldn't trust Texas as far as I could throw them. But yeah, Penn State and Notre Dame. This Notre Dame team is not impressive. A kick return for a touchdown. Fresh or the backup quarterback fumbled at like the 20.
Yep.
That's where you got this game. Now the defense is playing nice. If you want to take credit for that, like okay, but it's backup quarterback. So what do you want? What do you want to do? Nobody's really impressive this year, like at all. Like if you want to put some, you cannot give anybody that title. Besides, if you handpick a couple games. But if you look at the season in the entirety, everybody's been up and down, falling asleep, including Ohio State, including Texas. That's true. So, yeah, I agree that Texas and Ohio State is probably one of those probably going to be your national champion. It's not going to surprise me if they go out there and lay an egg. Y'all just watch the game. Like, what are y'all doing? They just blew a 17-point lead in the fourth quarter. Like it's very possible that either all four of these teams going. I'm gonna pick Texas. Just because I like the talent from in every phase of the game and at every level of both teams, of both sides of the ball. So I don't like this Notre Dame team coming. I feel like it's supposed to be the playoff. The best is going to win, but it don't feel like none of these teams deserve to be the best. Like,
we've got so used to seeing the Alabamas, we got so used to seeing the Georgias over the last few years. That it don't look right. We're finna go into the Final Four, and there's not gonna be either one of them there. It just don't feel, and especially if Notre Dame and Penn State are in that, it definitely don't look right. But they've earned their spot.
But to the point that Kyron made, let's look at the teams who didn't make it. Okay, who are you gonna swap out?
Exactly.
That would have been better. Ole Miss up and down all year. South Carolina up and down all year.
Yes.
You see what I'm saying? So who are you gonna put in that's better than the 12 that you have? There is no Miami up and down. No defense, none. Period. So who are you going to put in better? So I understand what he's saying. All these teams that are still left. There's no clear cut favorite here.
Yeah.
None. So this is why you have to just let it play out on the field. But yeah, there has been, and even when Oregon was rolling, I think about a month ago, you and I talked about. Is Oregon really the number one team in the country?
Yeah, we did.
You know what I'm saying? So there's just been there's been so much parity this year.
Yes.
In college football.
Yes.
Now I for one enjoy the parity.
Same.
I do.
Yes.
Especially as a gambling man.
Yeah. Exactly.
But there's really no dominant college football program this year. Period.
No, there hasn't been. I mean, and like I said, I think we've got so programmed and so used to Alabama just beating everybody's eyes out for a decade. We got so used to seeing that. And then when Georgia came on the scene, the same thing. They didn't lose a game until they lost to Alabama last year in the SEC Championship. They went 2 years without losing. So we got so used to that seeing this parity. And that's the result of many things. The transfer portal has a big part in that. NIL has a big part of that. And then them trying to make these super conferences have a part of that. Because on the Big Ten side, you got to see watered-down teams, Indiana, Penn State, destroy everybody else because the rest of the Big Ten is terrible. Then you see the SEC, who has about 5 or 6 teams that probably could have won the Big Ten, didn't even make the playoffs. Ole Miss, Alabama, A&M. All these teams are ranked right there in the top 10. And so I think it's a result of all that. At the end of the day, before the playoff started thing and we got to 12, I said I think Ohio State's the best team in this playoffs and that Georgia would win if Carson Beck played. Carson Beck's not playing. They're about to lose. Ohio State's the most talented team. That's who I see winning right now. But as of right now, we don't know anything because you couldn't have paid me to say that Penn State and Notre Dame were going to be in this Final Four. So obviously we don't know, and they got to go out here and play the rest of these games. Folks, we got to take one last break here on Centex Primetime. We come back, got to talk about Week 18 in the NFL, final week, when we'll preview some of these playoff matchups because a few of the playoff matchups are already set in the NFL. So we'll give a little quick preview of some of these games. We'll take a short break, and we'll be right back after this. Stay tuned and stay locked in on Centex Primetime. We'll be right back.
Central Texas home for sports. It's Centex Sports Network and Infinity Sports. Catch all your in-depth sports analysis with the best. The hottest sports show in the evening is Centex Primetime, hosted by Jalen Gillis.
Act like y'all.
Weekdays 5 to 7. This is the Central Texas #1 leader in sports. Centex Sports Network.
That's right, sports fans. We can talk about sports.
And Infinity Sports.
Lighthouse Streaming, a full-scale media agency and your go-to source for all things audio and video. Is your church long overdue for audio and video upgrades? Call Lighthouse Streaming for a free consultation. Does your corporate or church event need audio or video production? Don't stress. Call the guys at Lighthouse Streaming. In business since 2017, Lighthouse Streaming has produced hundreds of live events and completed dozens of church and venue installations. Whatever your AV needs are, Lighthouse Streaming has you covered. Give them a call at 254-252-4206. That's 254-252-4206. Or go to lighthousestreaming.com and set up your free consultation.
Hey guys, it's Rocky and Keisha, and at Prosperity Tax Service, we're all about convenience. We get it. Life is busy. Your time is valuable. That's why we've streamlined the entire process to be as hassle-free as possible.
No more sifting through piles of paperwork or spending hours at an office. With Prosperity Tax Service, you can handle your taxes from the comfort of your own home.
Your financial data is in safe hands with us through our secure and user-friendly customer portal at prosperitytax.com. It's your one-stop shop for all things tax-related. Log in anytime, from anywhere, whether it's from your couch or on the go.
We are experienced tax professionals, well-versed in handling a variety of tax situations. Receive genuine assistance and competitive pricing from real tax professionals who've seen it all.
We're marking 2 decades as a community-based enterprise here in Waco, Texas. So call us at 254-235-5662 or log on to www.prosperitytax.com. Thanks, guys.
It's the family feels for me. The banana pudding peach cobbler make you want to holler for me. It's the candy yams, mac and cheese, beef tips, pork tips and rice, collard greens. It's the sweet potato pie, sweetie. Fried chicken you've been missing, the lemon sweet tea dressing on Sundays when you all dressed up. Chest pie, buttermilk, and pound cake. Cornbread with butter just dripping, always fresh baked. If you need Southern style, soul food, home cooked meals that you can feel. Chicken and dumplings, chicken pot pie. 719 South 11th Street. Sassy's, come on by.
NSJ Event Co., one of the premier event designers in Central Texas and a Centex Sports Network supporter. Voted Waco Awards Event Planner of the Year 2021, NSJ Event Co. is your go-to source for event planning. Whether it's your next baby shower, birthday bash, wedding, or retirement party, NSJ Event Co. will bring out the elegance, class, and style your event deserves. Call NSJ Event Co. at the number on the screen or scan the QR code to schedule a free consultation. NSJ Event Co., where the party lady takes care of all your event needs.
Are you hungry for the best fried chicken in town? Check out Crispy Chicken No. 1, 11th and Clay, and their Monday and Tuesday special, the Snack Pack, which includes 2 pieces of chicken, fries, roll, and drink, all for only $6. Also, each Monday through Friday from 4 to 6, you can feed the family for $10 and receive 6 pieces of chicken, fries, and rolls. Crispy Chicken No. 1 features additional daily specials and also includes mouth-watering short ribs, fried catfish, and chicken fried steak. Locally owned and operated and a Waco tradition since 1975. That's Crispy Chicken No. 1 at 11th and Clay.
Central Texas home for sports. It's Centex Sports Network and Infinity Sports. KWBT-FM, HD2 Waco, Temple, Killeen, Fort Cavazos. The new leader in sports in Central Texas is Centex Sports Network and Infinity Sports. This is live from the Centex Sports Network and Infinity Sports Studios.
That's right, sports fans.
About to show these boys how we do it. You ready?
Tune in to Primetime Sports Talk with Jalen Gillis, your go-to source for breaking sports news in Central Texas and exclusive Dallas Cowboys coverage on the Centex Sports Network and Infinity Sports.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome back into Centex Primetime. I am your host, Jalen Gillis, here in the home stretch of the show. Final 25, 30 minutes here on the show. I want to thank everybody for listening with us, not only today, but all week long. Happy holidays, everybody. Happy New Year to everybody out there. January 2nd. Some of you have already went back on your New Year's resolutions. It's all right. We're not judging y'all. We're not judging. Just know that we know you've already went back on some of those resolutions.
Got a camera in my house. You already know that.
I'm part of them. That's how I know what's going on. But it's all good. Happy New Year's to everybody out there. Still joined the studio by Kyrell Gibson and Cedric Aguihart as we switch over from talking about a little bit of college sports to a little bit of NFL here on the last few minutes of the show. It's week 18 in the NFL this week. Before we get started into breaking down some of these games, got to talk about got to talk a little bit about your Eagles, man. And this nothing bad. It's just I just didn't see this coming with the news of Saquon sitting out for the final game of the season and going to forfeit a chance to be able to break the record. Now, I know Saquon is a really nice guy. We seen the video early in the year when he said, hey, man, you want to get back in? You can get your career high. And he said, nah, man, let the young guys go out there, like a nice TV PG movie at the end of it where, let the young guys go out there and get his last shot. I know he's a nice guy, but this the record, bro. This the record. I don't know how many times you're going to get a chance to break this record because no one's done it in 30 years, 40 years. Eric Dickerson, who I have as a top 5 back of all time. I don't know why he doesn't get a lot of the credit from some other parties. I have him as a top 5 of all time, but that record wasn't able to be broken by Adrian Peterson, who got really close. Chris Johnson got really close a couple times. So him not having a chance to break this and forfeit an opportunity, I didn't think that's what he was going to do. But, I mean, he obviously knows his body better than all of us. He might think, man, I probably could use this. I'm not going to get a bye week. Maybe I could use this week of rest to take some time off and heal up a little bit, get in the ice tub a little bit, and get ready for the playoffs. So Ced, you the Eagles fan, man. I'll let you take off. What's your thoughts on him sitting out not going for the record?
Yeah, first thing I want to say is I'm very disappointed in Coach Nick Sirianni because when they asked Sirianni about, well, are you going to sit Saquon next week or not, he said, well, I'm going to talk to my coaches and players and see how they feel about it. You're the head coach.
Yeah.
You got to make these calls. This is not a democracy.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying? So you say, I'm going to rest my stud back for the playoffs, or I'm going to let him break this record. Now, him going after the record, even if he got the record, there would still be discussion about the record because Eric Dickerson did it in 16 games.
Mm-hmm.
OJ did it in 14 games.
Yep.
You understand what I'm saying? So it would still be somewhat of an asterisk by it, even if he did break the record.
Mm-hmm.
Once you break 2,000, you're in an elite club as a running back.
Yep.
So that's good enough.
It is.
That's good enough. You need Saquon Barkley in the playoffs, especially with Jalen Hurts' health still in question. Mm-hmm. You're going to need Saquon Barkley. Rest Saquon Barkley. I'm just disappointed that Nick Sirianni didn't come out and say, you know what, not going to play him.
Yeah. I would want him to come out and make. You're the head coach, man. It's your call. You make the decision, and if you're gonna talk to anybody, talk to Saquon. What you talking to all the coaches and all the rest of the players for?
The other players, yeah. What they got to do?
Why are you asking the safety if Saquon should break the record? Why does that matter about this? Kyrell, what was your thoughts on Saquon forfeiting his chance to be able to go after that all-time record?
Smart. He put it right on the nail, man. Once you hit 2,000 as a running back, it's pretty much you in an elite club.
Yeah.
The week 18 or the extra game, for me, that's what I was going to always say. Oh, I don't care about that. Like, you go, Saquon Ripper too? Yeah, I don't care. He broke the record. Yeah, the extra game, whatever. OJ, I was going to say exactly that. OJ did it in 14 games. Eric Dickerson did it in 16 games. So, to me, this is just if y'all want to see records broken again, change the playoff format back. You know, top two teams get a bye.
Two teams get a bye.
You know? And I think they made the right call. I'm not going to speak on Nick Sirianni. I don't like him. So
you're not supposed to, man. You're a Cowboys fan.
I don't like him much either.
We can agree on that. But Yeah, he should have came out and just said, Saquon, took that heat for him. I'm not playing him. That record, man, just let it go. They done already gave you an extra game. It's not going to mean the same.
It's not.
The MVP will, though. Like if he gets that MVP, then that's something we can talk about. But I don't think that you guys have a legitimate chance to go to the bowl. Yeah, I don't think that the Lions are way ahead of y'all or anything like that.
No.
Y'all kind of right on head to head. If you're going to have a chance to be healthy going into the playoffs, y'all going to need Saquon. Because I'll tell you who's not going to win you no games. I can tell you who's not going to win you no games.
Here we go with the Jalen Hurts stuff.
Okay?
Man.
So you're going to need 26 to tote that ball and get y'all past these. Because I promise you, if y'all don't have 26, y'all going to have a lot of problems. And you're not going to win more than one playoff game. I would protect that asset and put him on the shelf.
And you need Saquon Barkley. Just because the wide receiver room has been dinged up all year long.
All year.
And they're not, I don't even know if they're still 100% healthy. We saw a good game out of Smith last week, and Brown did a little something. But, so you have to have that element because Barkley is a dual threat. He not only he's going to run the ball, but he can catch the ball out of the backfield and make plays in space.
Yeah.
And so you got to have that. Because that's what makes the offense pop.
It is.
It's getting the ball to Saquon Barkley in a variety of ways.
Yeah, and so Saquon sitting out, like both of you guys said, I think probably the right decision. I wish he could go for that record, but I was going to be right there saying, I'm mad. I'm still mad Adrian Peterson didn't break it. He was 40 yards away. Yeah. I'm still mad he didn't get the record because that's my favorite running back of all time.
And it's quite likely that we may never see that record broken.
Yeah.
Because the way that offenses, they just throw the ball around now, and there's no true workhorse running back, or like how many of them in the league right now? Barkley, Henry, Kamara,
Taylor,
McCaffrey when he's healthy, Taylor. There's just not a lot of these workhorse running backs anymore.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, we may not ever see that record.
I think it'll happen again.
You think so?
Yeah.
I think it'll be from a bad team. I think it has to be from a team that's 7-8, somewhere like the Bengals. If he was on the Bengals, he'd be going for the record because he'd be playing.
I'll take it one further. I think a rookie gonna be the one to do it. It's gonna be one of these young.
Just break out
young, just not injured or no injury history. It's gonna be a young back, maybe first or second year.
Ashton Genty.
I wasn't gonna say it.
Yeah. I'm glad you didn't say it because he ain't gonna be the one.
But
he ain't gonna be the one. He going to the Giants. He ain't gonna be the one. He's not gonna be the guy. Somebody in the top 15 gonna draft. I'm not taking no running back in the first round. I don't care what you say. I'm not taking no running back in the first round unless his name is Adrian Peterson.
To draft a running back in the first round, that running back has to be special in everybody's eyes.
Yes. So Saquon Barkley.
Yeah. So if there's any type of knock on his game that you can, or a flaw that you could, readily observe, first round running backs.
Derrick Henry wasn't the first round running back.
No.
Like we got to think taking the first round needs to be, like I said, Saquon, Adrian Peterson. They're the biggest guy at running back. They're the fastest guy at running back. They can outrun you. They can truck you. We don't even know what Genty gonna run. He probably not gonna run in the combine because it would only hurt his time.
I wouldn't run.
Yeah, he's not gonna run in the combine. So if you can't out muscle everybody and outrun everybody, I'm not taking you in the first round as a running back.
I do think that Genty is going to be productive in the NFL.
He's going to be very productive in the NFL. I think he's going to be very, especially if he gets on a team with the right type of offensive line, like a Cleveland Browns or somebody like that. You can replace a Nick Chubb and put Genty in there behind some of those big guys. Yeah, for sure. He think he's going to go there.
He goes to any team past 12. He's going to be a top 5 rusher.
And I can see that because this top
3.
Now he wants to don't up the ante, man. Top 5 ain't that hard to get in. This is a few guys in top 5.
Hubbard was top 5.
I think he got to be I think whoever breaks that record is gonna have to be on a Cleveland Brown, Peyton Hillis type of situation. Like, hey, we suck, but we're gonna give you the ball every play, bro, because we don't have nothing else to do here. If you're a top team like the Eagles, we're going to sit you in that last game, bro. Yes, Saquon, they're not going to win without Saquon because Saquon's their best player. Yeah. Nobody's going to win in the playoffs without their best player. Yeah. So the Eagles need Saquon Barkley to be able to do that. And right now, Eagles looking in good position to be able to do that. Like you said, they're right up. You said they're right up there with the Lions. I think they're better than the Lions.
They are because the Lions' defense.
Come on, man. They can't stop a nosebleed.
Man, did you watch that game against the Niners?
Yes.
That was a track meet.
That was. With the Niners.
With the Niners.
And they playing with dudes off the street. At every position on offense, pretty much. They playing with guys off the street. And Brock Purdy, who I'm not gonna get too much into Brock Purdy, who's not who's not that guy as well. So very interesting matchups coming up here in Week 18, folks, as the last game of this regular season. A lot of these games, nobody's gonna play. Like I'm a Texans fan. No way am I watching the Texans versus the Titans. Texans are sitting all their guys. The Titans should sit everybody already because they're 3-13. So they've already sat whoever they're going to sit.
That would have been entertaining if they would have played all night.
It wouldn't. If everyone played, it wasn't going to be entertaining. But there's a lot of games going around like that. The Browns in Baltimore. Nobody's playing in no game in Baltimore. Buffalo and New England. Nobody's playing that. Washington and Dallas. Maybe it's interesting for Dallas fans because they'll see who's going to come out there and get some more stats, but that's not an interesting game. Philly and New York. No one's going to be watching that. But there is a few games with some playoff implications, and one of them is on Saturday, and that is the Pittsburgh Steelers taking on the Bengals, who I thought 5 weeks ago, absolutely no shot for the Bengals to get into the playoffs. No chance. Even though Joe Burrow, despite what Shannon Sharp and some other people are saying, is playing like the best quarterback in the league outside of Lamar Jackson. In my opinion, I would take Joe Burrow over Josh Allen. Lamar Jackson has something you can't replace by anybody in the league. He's the fastest player in the league. He's the fastest player on the field at most of the time, and he can throw the ball great. But Joe Burrow's been playing right up there just as good, if not better, than Josh Allen, in my opinion. He's drugged this team all the way from the abyss pretty much to 8-8, got a chance to go 9-8, and still a chance to potentially get into the playoffs, which, like I said, I thought they had no chance to be able to do. So looking at this game on Sunday, Bengals versus Steelers. Steelers have already clinched a spot, so I'm not sure who they're even going to play out there. But even if the Steelers were playing all their guys, I like the Bengals in this game. I think the Bengals got a chance to come out here and win this. They're 2.5-point favorites, probably because Pittsburgh's going to sit some guys. But the way Russell Wilson has been playing, which I knew they were going to tail off, some people had stuff to say like, hey, you saying all this stuff about Russell Wilson at the beginning of the season. I look at him. Just give him time. He'll be Russell Wilson in no time, and he's already back to Russell Wilson right now. He's going to give you some plays to get in the game. He's going to do equally amount of plays to get you out of the game. He's going to put the ball in harm's way. That's just what Russell Wilson does. But I like the Bengals in this game, being able to come out with a win. What's your first thoughts on this game, Cincinnati versus Pittsburgh on Saturday? Sid, I'll start with you.
Yeah, Joe Burrow. Nobody in the league wants to see Joe Burrow in the playoffs.
I'm telling you.
Okay? Joe Burrow is playing at such a high level that Cincinnati is a threat to win every week.
Yeah.
I think they beat Pittsburgh. Joe Burrow is playing so well that I watched on ESPN. They have conspiracy theories saying, well, maybe Kansas City should just go ahead and just throw the game so Cincinnati can't make the playoffs because nobody wants to play Joe Burrow right
Nobody.
Yeah, what he's doing is phenomenal. He should definitely get votes for MVP, in my opinion. I don't know if he should win it, but the way that he's playing with who he's playing with, to me, that is the definition of MVP.
Yeah.
Because if there was no Joe Burrow, this team, how many games would this
4,
team win?
2. I'll go to 2 or 3.
Maybe a 3, 4. You know what I'm saying? So MVP, most valuable player. So that means, what is your team? Your team would be radically different if you don't have this guy on your roster. This is why Lamar should win it.
Mm-hmm.
Because I don't care who you are in the league, any quarterback in the league. You can put Mahomes at Baltimore.
Yeah.
He's not doing what Lamar's doing.
Nobody's doing that.
Nobody's doing what Lamar's doing. So, yeah, I think Cincinnati gets the win against Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh is they've been surprisingly good. I'll say that, surprisingly good. But we know how Mike Tomlin roll. He don't do no losing season.
No, he's gonna get in the playoffs regardless.
Yeah, he ain't ever. Yeah, he like losing season. What do he do that? You know? But I think Cincinnati wins this game, and I think it's because Joe Burrow has another great game.
Yeah.
Because he's not done.
What's your thoughts, Kyra, on this one? Pittsburgh and really not even just the Pittsburgh and Bengals game, but Pittsburgh. I mean, Cincinnati's chances of making the playoffs, really, because they got to get some help. I think Kansas City would have to beat Denver to be able to do that because they're tied right now with Miami for that 8th spot. But you got to get in the 7th spot to be able to get into the playoffs. And Denver has it if they go out there and win the game. If they don't, it'll get a little bit tricky. But what's your thoughts on this Bengals team?
Yeah, man. Do I want to see Bo Nix or Joe Burrow?
Yeah, it's simple.
Yeah, I'll be going for whoever Kansas City trots out there. Joe Burrow's had a great season. I believe he's a top 3 quarterback, top 5 quarterback. Whatever you want to say, but he got them weapons. All right, he's still cold. He's still Shiesty Joe, whatever y'all want to call him, man. But that's still Jamar Chase, T. Higgins out there. He's doing what he's supposed to. But I don't want him taking votes from Lamar. I don't, because I don't want nobody stealing no votes from Lamar Jackson, because we should be seeing a three-peat in the MVP voting. I don't want to hear nothing about Josh Allen. He had a great stretch, but that Patriots game, I want everybody to focus in on.
Yeah, how does he just throw that out?
Yeah.
I don't know how that just got thrown out.
Yeah. Look, and then the Patriots game, Lamar's been very consistent. It says 4 picks. Please go watch those 4 picks.
I've seen all 4.
Yeah.
Out of somebody's hands.
Not his fault.
He's thrown 0 picks this year. He scores 41 touchdowns. This should not be a contest. I know we talking about Joe Burrow, but I've already made the statement. I want to see Joe Burrow in the playoffs over Bo Nix.
For sure.
But about the MVP, I don't want him getting no votes, because if they not voting for him, that mean if they voting for Joe, that mean they not voting for Lamar. All right. So I don't even want to start that game. Lamar Jackson should be your 2024, 2025 MVP, and if it don't happen that way, I'm raising hell, because y'all just giving it. It's fatigue. It has to be fatigue.
Yeah.
Josh Allen goes on a 6-game, 7-game stretch, and now he's the MVP. I see it in all the graphics the NFL puts up. It's they're doing it in a very specific manner, but people are just forgetting they played head to head. Got stomped.
Yeah. That's what I thought would have been the most important part. I don't know. Head to head doesn't count.
And the other part of that is the numbers that Lamar has put up this year were better than the numbers when he won his last MVP.
Exactly. And everybody wants to talk about the Bills and Josh Allen. He ain't got no weapons. What year did Lamar have weapons? We're talking about Derrick Henry this year. What year did Lamar have weapons? Yeah. Where's Lamar's number 1 receiver?
Baltimore Ravens
still
spent first-round picks 4 years in a row on wide receivers, and the only one that's panned out has been Zay Flowers.
That's it. They missing on everybody else. And he's good. He's a good player, but he's not an X.
He's
not a number 1 guy.
He's not wide receiver 1.
No, he is not wide receiver 1. So where is his weapons? Everybody always want to talk about Josh. Look what he's doing without weapons.
Derrick Henry thing kills me, man. It does, because y'all saw last year. Derrick Henry was washed, right? Lamar wasn't washed last year.
Nope.
Derrick Henry
won MVP.
Mm-hmm.
And what did the Titans do?
Yeah.
Did the Titans not pick in the top 10?
Yeah.
With Derrick Henry on it?
Comes to Baltimore and revives his career.
Not Lamar, not the other way around.
I don't. They love to hate on Lamar, and we all know why, man. He don't fit that face of the NFL.
I would say it's an image thing.
It is.
Lamar is, he comes out there with the hair braided up. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And he
the plaits, he got the
now he's not Allen Iverson thugged out. He's not that.
Yeah. He ain't even that.
But he doesn't fit that button down corporate look.
Exactly.
At the NFL. He's not Patrick Mahomes.
Exactly. That's what I was just gonna say. He's not. He don't got that terrible voice, Patrick Mahomes guy. Hey guys, let's come on. Let's win a game. He don't talk like that.
How many national commercials, have you seen Lamar Jackson on?
We know
0.
what it is. When
Zero.
Mohawk.
0. Yeah, for real. Yeah, this dude got a
childish haircut you can have, man. So you know what it is.
Yeah, they don't want to let Lamar be the face, but Lamar's got to win this MVP. If he doesn't, you already know what I'm gonna say. But he's got to come out here and win this, in my opinion. Looking at some of these playoff teams, we just talked about the Bengals and barely being able to scrape across and maybe get into there. Looking in the NFC, a team that I thought had 0 chance of making it and is going to be in it now. The Los Angeles Rams. This team was 1-5. Cooper Kupp was on the trade market. He literally almost got traded to the Chiefs. They just didn't want to give up. The Chiefs didn't want to give up the capital that they were asking for. They wanted to give up a second, and the Rams wanted a first. But if they just would have gave up that second, Cooper Kupp would have been on the Chiefs, I'm very glad that did not happen. Cooper Kupp would have been on the Chiefs, and the Rams would be somewhere at the bottom like Chicago or somebody. But this team got healthy. Puka Nacua was on IR. Cooper Kupp was on IR. They were 1-5. Kyron Williams was hurt. Matthew Stafford got all his weapons back, and and reminded everybody that I'm Matthew Stafford. I know he always gets left out of these conversations as far as quarterbacks, but you're not going to name 5 or 6 or 7 more guys more talented than Matt Stafford ever in the NFL as a ball thrower. So Matt Stafford reminding us who he is. They climbed up to 10-6. They're going to be the 3 seed in the playoffs, and most likely going to play against a team like the Commanders. How do y'all see this Rams team? Because I feel I look at them kind of like you said a second ago. A lot of teams not trying to play the Rams in the first round in the playoffs, man. I know the Rams don't got no defense. That's cool. But if you don't put up 35 plus, you're going home with an L. What's your thoughts on this Rams team, man?
Yeah, and this Rams team they're very capable of winning 2 games in the playoffs. They really are.
Yes.
And their defense is a little bit better than you think. Their front 7.
They can get after the ball.
They're young guys, but they can come. They can get to the passer.
Jared Verse
without blitzing. You know what I'm saying? The 4-man rush is enough to get to the passer, so they can put pressure on some offenses. This is a Rams team that you have to be aware of them. Kyron Williams, one of the most underrated running backs in the NFL. Matthew Stafford, historically underrated as a quarterback. Puka Nacua is something special.
Man.
Nacua is special. He really is. And it took me a while to warm up to him, honestly, because even though the rookie year I was like,
yeah.
But yeah, Puka Nacua is special. And Cooper Kupp still got something left in the tank.
He does.
So this is, and then let's not forget the coach, Sean McVay, one of the best coaches in the league.
For sure.
So this is a Rams team that is capable of going into somebody's house and winning a playoff game. They really are.
And Sean McVay is a great point. As a play caller, Sean McVay always produces, in my opinion, on the offensive end as a play caller. I think he is very special offensive mind. He's what Steve Sarkisian thinks he is. He thinks he's Sean McVay, and he ain't that. So I'm not going to get on Sarkisian no more. I know all y'all Texas fans out here. But he's what Sarkisian thinks he is. Kyrie, what's your thoughts about this Rams team going into the playoffs?
Man, the Rams, this is the team more than any of the Cowboys division rivals that really hurts me to watch, because that is a team or organization that has completely did the opposite of what the Joneses want to do, which is save money in free agency. They always talk about, we don't want to strap ourselves for down the line as far as spending in free agency. Rams did exactly that. They went and signed everybody, won a bowl, tore it all down. Look at them now.
Yep, right back.
Look at them now. It works. That's what you have to do. So when I watch that, I know it works. And I'm looking at Jared and I'm looking at the Cowboys like, man, why don't y'all do that? Y'all hate us. So, yeah, the Rams are I'm happy because the Matthew Stafford disrespect was getting crazy. It was getting crazy. People want to hold on to those losing years at the Lions, but hey.
Barry Sanders couldn't win on the Lions. He might be the best football player ever. So let's stop that. It's the Lions.
I'm very happy that, I'm not very happy, but I'm excited to see them in the playoffs again. And so for Matt Stafford to show that he's still what Cam was talking about.
A game changer.
Game changer, not a manager.
For sure.
They was trying to put him in that category, but he's a changer. And with Puka Nacua and Cooper Kupp, Nacua, no physical attributes really jump off. But
none.
Yeah,
just focus. Literally, in the game, watch. I feel like he has the best playlist of pregame videos to get ready for football because he's focused all the time.
Yeah.
Cooper Kupp is a little bit. I feel like a little bit better athlete in his prime, but just another great receiver. And
the thing about Nacua, he's also probably the best blocking receiver in the league.
Yeah, he is.
And that's what breaks runs. I don't know how guys the receivers are the ones that break the runs. The big runs, AJ Brown, great blocking downfield. That's how you get it.
Hines Ward all those years, the best wide receiver blocker ever. Probably, yeah.
It's very important.
Ear hole you.
Always gets me.
Steve Smith was like that.
Yeah, Steve Smith. Yeah, you need those type of guys. You need them type of guys on the edge. And like you said, that's what breaks runs, getting to the outside. The tackles, obviously they do a big part in tight end. Tight end is like that as well. Patriots got to put all those random guys at running back because Gronk is laying people out at tight end when he's out there.
Hernandez.
Aaron Hernandez. Well, he was definitely laying people out. I don't know how to feel, but looking at this, look, we got a couple minutes left here on the show, folks. Looking at the NFC and the AFC, if y'all had to pick, who's the scariest team in the NFC? Who's the scariest team in the AFC? Kyrie, I'll start with you.
Eagles, without a doubt, Eagles.
In the NFC, okay.
Win every which type of way, and then you can probably win with their defense if that defensive line starts going. So the Eagles are the scariest team. I don't know if they're the best, but they're the scariest team if they click.
Yeah. AFC, who you think?
Man, it's got to be Baltimore. I know Lamar has lost, but man, that might be. LeBron's the best, Mike's the greatest. All right, right. Lamar is probably the best football player I've ever seen. Period. Just period. He jogged for 70 yards.
Jogged, man. Come on.
I don't. Now he has Derrick Henry. I'm hoping that he gets his respect, that he gets his due this year. He runs through Patrick Mahomes, and definitely runs through Josh Allen. And we can just put all this to bed, and we can finally put Lamar as probably a top 5, top 10 player of all time.
3 MVPs and the Super Bowls.
And I would love to see Lamar get his flowers like that.
Mm-hmm.
But to me, the scariest team in the AFC is still Kansas City.
Yeah, man.
They just find ways
what I was
to
gonna
win
say.
games. And it's just, it doesn't matter what situation you put them in. They just find a way to win a game.
Are you scared of Kansas City or the league office?
That's
what I'm worried about. Buffalo Wild Wings.
Hey, but I'm agreeing with you with Kansas City. But who you thinking? Who you thinking the NFC?
The scariest team to me in the NFC, I would agree, is probably us, Philly. But look out for Washington, man. This kid, Jaden Daniels,
special.
He's an alien.
He's special.
He really is. And as long as this guy is healthy and on the field, his team has a chance to win a game. Doesn't matter if they got to score 40, they'll score 40. He's just down like that.
Yeah.
So yeah, dark horse definitely watch out for the Commanders.
Yeah, I like the Commanders too. Like you said, Jaden Daniels, he's special. My scariest team in the NFC, Philly is the best team. The scariest team to me is because they can just put up 50, and if you don't score 50, then you're gonna lose. That's why I have them as the scariest. Philly is the best team, and I expect Philly to come out of the NFC.
But you can score 50 on Detroit because
you can. You can. Chicago might be able to score 50 on Detroit, and they won 4 games. So you definitely can score 50 on Detroit. But if you don't, you're going to lose. Right. Scariest team in the AFC is like you said, man. I still think Kansas City is the scariest team because of what both of you said. Mahomes and the league office. You got Mahomes. You got to play against the refs. You got to play against the crowd. They've never not had a home game. Maybe once when they played Josh Allen in Buffalo. Every other time, like they said, the AFC Championship is the Kansas City Invitational. That's where they're going to be.
This whole league office comment is very appropriate because we talked about who's the face of the NFL.
Come on,
right? They would much rather keep pumping out Patrick Mahomes than to have to start pumping Lamar Jackson.
Because he ain't had the season for him to go and get 6 more commercials.
Not at all.
But if he three-peats, which no one's ever done in the NFL, he's going to get 10 more commercials. So you got to play against Kansas City. And then they got the best coach. They got Andy Reid. They got the best defensive coordinator. They got Steve Spagnuolo. They got Patrick Mahomes, who is the only one, not the only one. I respect a lot of guys on Kansas City. But he's the only one on Kansas City that no matter what his stats are, he could be 1 for 30 on passing with 7 yards. You give him the ball in the fourth quarter.
One completion, man,
it's over. And you know he's going to make it. It's not even man, watch out, he might do it. It's over, and you know it's over. So that's why I still think Kansas City is the scariest team. But we got plenty more to talk about here on Centex Primetime, folks. We're out of time here today. Next week, we'll be able to hone in some more on his college football playoff matchups as round 3. Next weekend, we'll be able to talk some more about these NFL matchups as well. I want to thank Ced for coming on here with me. I want to thank Kyrell for coming on here with me. Galen for joining us in hour number 1. Stay, folks, we'll be back next week on Monday. So we got plenty to talk about over the weekend, plenty of games. So everybody have a safe weekend out here. Happy New Year's to everybody. We'll see you guys next time here on Centex Primetime.
Central Texas home for sports. It's Centex Sports Network and Infinity Sports. Catch all your in-depth sports analysis with the best. The hottest sports show in the evening is Centex Primetime.